During freshman military training, my roommate came across a video of a rich second-generation guy taking a girl who had heat stroke to the infirmary and they fell for each other. Excited, she told me, "When we're training later, I'm going to fake a faint. Whatever you do, don't bother with me. Maybe I can catch a rich guy, too, and make him my boyfriend." Seeing that she was really serious, I kindly reminded her, "Those are all low-probability events. Let's just behave and get through military training honestly. If the instructor finds out you're faking fainting, you'll be punished." Under my persuasion, my roommate finally gave up on the idea unexpectedly on the day military training ended. A girl posted on the confession wall that she had found a rich, handsome top-tier boyfriend by pretending to faint. Looking at the diamond necklace and designer handbag in the photos, my roommate was so regretful that her eyes turned red. I wanted to comfort her, but she suddenly turned around and shoved me down the stairs. "Ching Yen, if it weren't for you, I would have already landed a rich second-generation boyfriend. You're just afraid I'll end up living better than you. So, you're using your decent family background to keep me as the green leaf that makes you look good." My roommate hated me for making her miss her chance and even smashed my phone so I couldn't call an ambulance. I died with hatred in my heart. And when I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day my roommate was about to fake a faint. This time, facing my roommate's excited anticipation, I smiled calmly. "Sure. I won't interfere." Wanshur clutched her phone, hearing my words. The excitement and eagerness in her eyes actually turned hesitant. She pressed her lips together and looked at me. Yen, do you really think this will work? What if after I fake fainting, no one sends me to the infirmary and I get discovered by the instructor instead? Will I get punished?" Her tone was worried as she looked at me hesitantly under the shade of the trees. I looked at her fair and beautiful face and suddenly let out a cold sneer in my heart. In my previous life, I was worried that she would be exposed if she pretended to faint. So, I kindly advised her not to keep thinking about unrealistic things. Wanshur, displeased at the time, curled her lips. Yen, why do you always think about things in a negative way? I'm so beautiful. What if I really catch the eye of some rich second-generation heir after pretending to faint? Then I won't have to work so hard after graduation. Wanshur was indeed quite beautiful with the kind of delicate, innocent-looking face that made people want to protect her at first glance. I was deceived by her appearance and thought she was just an overly innocent girl. So, I earnestly tried to persuade her. "There's no such thing as a free lunch from the sky. Let's just honestly get through military training. If you fake faint and get discovered by the drill instructor, you'll have to run laps as punishment." In the end, Wanshur was still afraid of being punished. And under my persuasion, she reluctantly gave up this ridiculous idea. I thought it was all over. But on the day military training ended, Wanshur saw the girl on the confession wall bragging about how she had snagged a rich second-generation heir. And her eyes turned red with regret. She shoved me down the stairs. Her face twisted and smashed my phone before my very eyes, watching as I took my last breath just before I died. I even heard her say, "Ching Yen, a daughter from a wealthy family like you has no idea how hard it is for people like us to climb up the social ladder. You made me miss my chance. If I die here today, it's all your own fault." She screamed herself hoarse. And I still haven't forgotten that sense of despair at slowly dying. I thought someone like her, both crazy and brainless, will decide to pretend to faint once she heard me say I wouldn't help. I didn't expect that instead of persuading her, she'd start hesitating on her own. She was worried about being punished and considered the consequences very thoroughly. So, in her previous life, even though she knew I was saying those things for her own good, she still blamed me for everything. A chill ran down my spine. And my gaze turned cold as I said flatly, "I don't know either. This is your own business. So you should make the decision yourself since I know what kind of person is. Of course, I won't meddle anymore in this life. If she wants to court death and pretend to faint to hook a rich second-generation heir, then let her go ahead. Anyway, it has nothing to do with me." Wanshur looked at me suspiciously, her eyes gradually re-eaning. "Yen, I really do treat you as a friend. Which is why I'm telling you this. How can you be so cold-hearted?" She looked wronged as she accused me, and I was almost laughed out of anger by her words. Wanshur actually had the nerve to say that. In my previous life, I treated her as a friend and sincerely advised her. But in the end, all I got was a tragic death. I am the only daughter in my family. After my parents received the news, One had a heart attack and was rushed to the hospital while the other was suddenly covered in white hair overnight. Ruan Sure took advantage of the fact that there were no surveillance cameras in the dormitory hallway and claimed that I had slipped and fallen down the stairs. Not only did she continue going to school, she also stole the bags and jewelry I had left in the dorm and sold them, living better and better. Someone who had done so many terrible things actually accused me of being too cold-hearted. My expression turned even colder. One Sure. We've only known each other for a few days. We're just people who can exchange a few words. What you want to do has nothing to do with me. And you don't need to tell me any of this. My indifferent attitude hurt One Sure. Tears fell one drop after another as she pitifully accused me. Qing Yan. I trusted you as a friend. And yet in your heart, I was nothing at all. I'll never talk to you again. Her crying and shouting were loud. Another roommate in the dorm, Xiao Yu, couldn't stand it anymore and came over to shield her. Qing Yan. Was there any need for you to say that so harshly? We're all roommates and we'll be living together for the next 4 years. If you act like this, who would dare talk to you in the future? Xiao Yu tightly protected Ruan Sure. When the few boys not far away looked over, she proudly lifted her chin. I looked up at her, the corners of my mouth curving into a mocking smile. Xiao Yu. On the very first day of school, she pointed at my limited edition bag and asked if I was being kept by some Novo reboss. After I slapped her across the face, she bore a grudge against me. Only after I died in my previous life did I learn that Wan Shire, who claimed to dislike Qiao Yu, often chatted with Xiao when I wasn't in the dorm. After Qiao learned that I had stopped Wan Shire from pretending to faint, she rolled her eyes and said to Wan Sure, "Sure, you didn't believe me when I told you before, but that Qing Yan is nothing good. You're so pretty. If you take the opportunity during military training to hook a rich second generation, you wouldn't have to keep following her around as a little sidekick. I think she's deliberately trying to stop you because she's afraid you'll really end up with a rich second generation and live better than she does." After I stopped Wan Sure, she was already feeling regretful and secretly blamed me in her heart. After hearing Qiao Yu's words, she became even more justified in blaming everything on me. As the two grew closer and closer, she still acted like we weren't familiar with each other when I was in the dormitory. Later, when Wan Sure didn't have enough living expenses, I lent her money and Xiao whispered in her ear that I was trying to buy her off with a pittance, wearing a diamond necklace to go eat with Wan Sure. Xiao Yu told her that I was showing off my wealth and even made her act as a supporting green leaf. Anyway, no matter what I did, it was always wrong. On the surface, Wan Sure was on good terms with me, but behind my back, she and Xiao Yu cursed me every day, and their thinking became more and more twisted. So, these two people were actually both the murderers who killed me. Thinking of the jealous look on Zaya's face when she saw my parents transfer living expenses to me, I let out a soft laugh. I came here to study, not to make friends on purpose. Since we don't get along, then let's not talk to each other anymore. As I said this, my gaze was on Wan Shire. Wan Shire looked conflicted as if she were thinking about the benefits I could bring her. She stopped crying and softened her attitude. Yan, you. She wanted to smooth things over with me, but Xiao got the urge to show off and feeling indignant pulled her back. Sure. Let's go. Someone like her who comes from a wealthy family would never treat you as a friend. Xiao Yu pulled Wan Sure away and I looked completely indifferent. These two people had often gotten together in my previous life. This time it was just a little earlier. In this life without my advice, Wan Sure still hesitated and didn't pretend to faint. I stood under the blazing sun holding a proper stance. And after enduring for several hours, training finally ended. After dinner, I walked back to the dormitory. The door wasn't fully closed, and I could clearly hear the conversation between the two people inside the room. Xiao Yu said excitedly, Sure. This is your chance. What are you still hesitating about? You're young and pretty. If you pretend to faint, there's definitely going to be a guy who will feel sorry for you and take you to the infirmary. I looked it up. There are a lot of low-key rich second-generation kids at our university. As long as you snag one, you'll be able to become a rich wife in the future. Her tone was so excited. It was as if she couldn't wait to do it herself. Wan Sure wiped the sweat from her forehead, speaking with hesitation and anticipation. Yui, can I really do it? What if no one helps me? Xiao Yu pulled her straight to the mirror and said firmly, Sure. You're so beautiful. You'll definitely be fine. You should just rest easy. When you land a rich second-generation guy, you'll have all the designer bags and luxury watches that Qing Yan has too. Wan Scherzer was still quite confident in her looks. And when she heard this, a flash of jealousy quickly crossed her eyes. Okay. Then I'll give it a try this afternoon. Ah. You once I'm living the good life. I definitely won't forget you. The two talked happily and I stood at the door, the corners of my lips curling in mockery. Xiaoyu was desperate to climb the social ladder, but she was far too ordinary looking. By becoming friends with Wuan Shire and having Wan Shi go after rich second-generation heirs, she could also take the opportunity to gain some benefits. They had planned it well. But there were very few truly stupid rich second-generation heirs at school. After the two of them finished talking, I pushed the door open and went into the dormitory. Wan Shi tilted her head and glanced at me, probably because she had found her confidence in Xiao. She looked at me now with clear disdain in her eyes. I ignored her, went to wash my face, and lay down on the bed, planning to get some proper rest before training. After Wan Shire realized I simply hadn't taken her seriously at all, her expression twisted for a moment. She glared at me and took her change of clothes to the bathroom the whole noon. Wan Shi was either taking a shower or putting on makeup, making so much noise that there was no way to sleep at all. I was woken up. But I wasn't angry at all because I knew that Wan Shi was dressing herself up so diligently all for the sake of hooking a rich second-generation guy in the afternoon. In my previous life, after I talked her out of it, Wan Shi gave up on the idea and regretted it deeply. I was very curious what would happen in this life if I let things go as she wished and allowed her to fake fainting to hook a second-generation rich kid. When the broadcast reminded all first-year students to gather on the playground, Wan Shi had just finished doing her hair. She hurriedly grabbed her perfume and sprayed some on herself, then asked Xiaoyu with an expectant look on her face. Do I look okay like this? She already looked good without makeup, and with full makeup on, she naturally looked even better. Jealousy flickered quickly in Xia's eyes, but she still smiled on the surface and praised her for looking beautiful. Flattered, Wan Shi lifted her chin slightly, then turned her gaze to me. Seeing that I had only applied sunscreen, she grew even more smug. She went to the playground arm in arm with Xiaoyu, chatting and laughing along the way like they were best friends. I stood in the girls' line watching Wan Shire and Xiaoyu linger near the boys' group to attract their attention. A lot of the boys' eyes lit up when they saw Wan Shire. Only after achieving her goal did Wan Shusher take Xiaoyu by the hand and stroll over leisurely. The afternoon was the same as the morning standing posture and running drills. I gritted my teeth and held on, sweat constantly dripping down. Wan Shi, who was fully made up and exquisitely beautiful, had also worked up a bit of a sweat. After finally finishing the standing posture drill, the instructor said to run one lap slowly around the track. Wan Shi wiped away the beads of sweat, clenched her teeth, and as if she could no longer wait, deliberately tilted her body and was about to fall. Xiaoyu quickly supported her, shouting anxiously, "Not good. Instructor. Classmate Wan has fainted from heatstroke." In an instant, everyone looked over. I shifted my gaze away from Wan Shi, who was pretending to faint, and noticed that quite a few male classmates were eager to step forward. Finally, a tall boy took the initiative and raised his hand. "Instructor. I'll take classmate Wan to the infirmary." He had a handsome, decent-looking face, and the moment he raised his hand, several girls began whispering among themselves, "It's actually Lu Qi. I heard his family is super rich, and they even bought a place near the school to make it easier for him to get to class. That's him. That little brat is so lucky she actually gets sent to the infirmary by a rich second generation like him after suffering heatstroke." The moment I saw Lu Qi, my eyes flashed with surprise. And then I slightly curved my lips and looked at Wershi. Sure enough, the pretending to faint Wan Shi couldn't help but curl her lips upward. And Xiaoyu, who was supporting her, also looked excited. After getting permission, Lu Qi smiled and walked over to Wan Shi's side, directly scooping her up around the waist, then strode toward the infirmary. This scene made the girls around them scream. "My God. It's actually a Princess Carrie. Lu Qi is so manly. I'm jealous. If I were that girl, I'd just devote myself to him." I watched the two figures walking away and let out a cold laugh. Such things do happen in this world where kind-hearted people help others. But Wan Shi had impure motives and had planned from the start to fake fainting in order to hook a rich second-generation heir as her boyfriend. With such thoughts in her heart, how could the people she attracted possibly be good? I continued to stay where I was to train. It wasn't until training ended and I returned to the dormitory that Wersher came back. She was carrying a few cups of milk tea and had a new style handbag slung over her shoulder. When she saw Qiao Yu and me, she smiled with a shy expression. Here. This is the milk tea Lu Qi is treating you to. Qiao Yu quickly took it and said in shock, looking at the new bag on her. Oh my god. Sure. Did Lu Qi give you this bag? I remember this one is really expensive. Ruani was just about to show off the bag she had received and replied with a beaming smile. Yeah. He said that since we know each other, it must be fate, and insisted on giving me the bag. He even said he'll treat everyone in our dorm to a meal next time. Speaking of this, Ruan Shershur glanced at me smugly and raised the milk tea toward me. Yen, drink it. This is also Louis's kind gesture. I refused with a calm expression. No. I still have to go eat later. As soon as I finished speaking, I was about to walk out of the dormitory past her. But Wuan Shershur suddenly reached out and grabbed me. She looked at her with displeasure and said, Qing Yan, what are you so cocky about? You're just a nouveau riche with a few filthy rich family dollars. Lu Qi is way richer than you. And he's not nearly as hard to deal with. I looked at her hand, clutching my sleeve, and my expression darkened. Let go. Wanshur thought she had hooked up with a rich second-generation heir and was already in the same social class as me. Of course. She wouldn't listen to me. She said haughtily, Qing Yan, I'm telling you, I'll soon become Lu Qi's girlfriend. In the future, don't even think about making me the green leaf that sets you off. Apologize for your attitude right now. And in the future, we can still be friends. She kept rambling on, which only irritated me. Xiao Yu, who was drinking milk tea beside her, also chimed in sarcastically. That's right. Apologize now, and from now on, don't show off your wealth anymore. Keep a low profile. Put away those bags and clothes and we can still get along. I could no longer it and slapped one shusher directly across the face. And I didn't spare Xiao Yu either. Are you too crazy? I dress like this at home. Why should I hide my things just because you're insecure and inferior? After I died in my past life, I never understood why I was constantly insulted and targeted by my two roommates. Clearly, after the semester started, I had never offended them. And I always acted very politely. It was only later that I understood because my family was well off. Everything I wore, ate, and used was better than theirs. When I had things they didn't. If I treated them to a meal, it was showing off. If I didn't, then I was stingy anyway. They'd never look at me favorably no matter what since they're so unhappy with me. There's no need for me to keep tolerating them. Neither of them had ever expected me to make a move. And they instantly blew up. Qing Yan, what the hell gives you the right to hit me? Xiaoyu Yu was the first to curse out loud. Wanshur covered her face with her hand, and her gaze at me looked as if she wanted to kill me. I shook my numb hand and let out a scornful laugh. You're so thick-skinned. We can't I hit you. Xiaoyu was furious beyond reason. I'm calling the police. I'm going to find the counselor. Wanshur didn't stop them. Her gaze gloomy, clearly meaning the same thing. I wasn't the least bit afraid. Go ahead. All of you. I recorded everything you just said. I'd like to see who will be more embarrassed when the time comes. I took out my phone and waved it in front of them. My eyes filled with mockery. Zaya's face flushed red and pale in turns, looking utterly awful. Wan Shire, who had just been glaring at me with a sullen expression, quickly changed her face, forcing a smile. Yen, we were just joking with you earlier. We didn't force you to put the stuff away. So don't act impulsively no matter what. We're roommates. There's no need to make such a big deal out of it. She made it sound nice, as if she didn't want to blow things up. But in reality, she was just afraid I'd expose her ugly true colors and cost her the rich second-generation guy she had just hooked. I let out a soft laugh and warned her. One sure. If you want to hook a man, that's your own business. It has nothing to do with me. Don't come in front of me trying to make your presence known again. Or don't blame me for exposing you. Since things had already fallen apart between us. Of course, I wasn't going to speak kindly. Xiao already had a grudge against me. And when she heard this, her face turned black with anger. She raised her hand and was about to fight me. It was Wan Shershur who reached out to stop her, saying with a stiff smile, Yen, don't worry. We definitely won't say that kind of thing again in the future. She kept her posture very low. I didn't look at her. And carrying my bag was about to head to the cafeteria for lunch. Behind me, Wan Scherzer clenched her fists, glaring resentfully at my back. After quite a while, she finally pulled the equally angry Xiaoyu out of the dormitory. On the first floor of the cafeteria, I got my food and sat in a corner. Halfway through my meal, I saw Wan Shi walk in arm with Lu Qi with Xiaoyu following behind them. They got their food and sat not far from me, chatting and laughing. Shire, since we can't leave campus right now once military training is over, I'll treat you and your roommates to a meal at a Michelin restaurant. Lu Qishan looked at Wan Shire affectionately. Wan Shi's face turned red and she shyly refused. Brother Lu Qi, we've only just met. How could we let you spend so much? Xiao Ye's eyes lit up. But she still said, yeah. If you really want to treat me and Shi to a meal, just pick a restaurant. Lu Qi smiled and looked at Wan Shi. His voice indulgent. An ordinary restaurant isn't worthy of Shire. If I'm going to treat you, it has to be somewhere good. They had only just met today, and he had already given her a designer bag. Wan Shi was already completely fallen for him, and when she heard that, her face turned even redder. Too shy to look at Lu Qi, she said, Brother Lu Qi, you're really so good to me. The girls around them, hearing Lu Qi's words, were both jealous. That girl is so lucky. Right after the semester started, she already has a rich second generation like Lu Qi chasing after her. Yes. And you haven't even started dating her yet. But you're already going to treat her to Michelin dining. If you do get together, wouldn't you treat her even better? Wan Shire looked at Lu Qi with admiration. Lu Qi said nothing, but sized her up from head to toe, his expression growing increasingly satisfied. Seeing that Wan Shi had already been drawn in and believed Lu Qi, I silently shook my head. I'm a local and many of my friends' families nearby are in business or run companies. Anyway, I've never heard of any business family with the surname Liu. That was really big. Among the people around me with the surname Liu who were in business, there was only one small company on the verge of bankruptcy. Thinking of this, I smiled with amusement. I'd heard that the boss's son of that small company had done quite a few shady things in an effort to save the company. If Lu Qi was that person, then I took one last look at Wan Shire, who was flirting with Lu Qi, and at Xiao Yuyu, whose eyes were burning as she stared at Lu Qi. Then I picked up my tray and left. Kind words can't persuade those who are determined to die. Wan Shi has a vile personality and Xiao Yu is no good either. No matter what fate befalls them, they've only themselves to blame. In the next few days, I carried on with military training as usual every day. Meanwhile, Wan Shi found all kinds of excuses to avoid the training. Louis often had food delivered to her and even sent her expensive cosmetics and jewelry through others, sticking to her every day. Having learned from the last lesson, she didn't dare to trouble me again like before. But since I was staying in the dormitory, I could hear everything she said to Xiaoyu about how good Lu Qi was to her. EW. Do you know this is the first time a man has ever treated me this well before college? I never imagined I'd meet a man as good as Lu Qi. Last time we were walking around the school track, I accidentally twisted my ankle and he actually picked me up and carried me straight to a bench to massage it. Xiaoyu listened with both envy and jealousy and in the end couldn't help but say sourly, sure. You really are lucky. Lu Qi has already spent tens of thousands on you these past few days. Wan Shire looked triumphant. Seeing the envy on her face, she deliberately said generously, EW. Don't worry. I won't forget you. Next time we go out to eat, dress up nicely. I'll ask Lu Qi whether he has any brothers to introduce to you. Xiaoyu immediately became happy. Sure. Sure. You're so good to me. The two of them were extremely looking forward to Lu Qi taking them to a Michelin restaurant for dinner. And they chatted about it for a long time. Lying on the bed, I looked at the information I had gotten someone to investigate on my phone and burst out laughing. Xiaoyu immediately frowned and looked over, thinking I was mocking them and said in a hostile tone, Qing Yan, what are you laughing at? Wan Shi remembered that I had a recording in my hand and tugged at her sleeve, telling her not to make trouble for me. I replied in a good mood. Nothing. I just saw a joke on my phone. Of course. I had to laugh. The two idiots went to great lengths to find a scumbag and even treated him like a treasure. How ridiculous. On the day military training ended, I first went to the cafeteria to eat before heading back to the dorm. Downstairs of the dormitory building, Wan Shire and Xiaoyu had both dressed up carefully and were standing there waiting for someone. I knew they were waiting for someone and I couldn't be bothered to deal with them, so I was about to just walk past them and leave. Wan Shi was on the phone. When she saw me, she said awkwardly into the phone, "Brother Lucci. My roommate has already said she doesn't want to go." Her phone was on speaker and Lucci's voice quickly came through. Sure. I can tell that you all don't get along very well with your other roommate. You'll still have to live with your roommate for 4 more years. If you can use this chance to ease things between you, that would be a good thing for you, too. Sure had originally been a little unwilling, but after hearing that, she immediately smiled happily. Then, "I'll ask her again." As she spoke, she stepped right in front of me to block my way and smiled as she invited me. "Yen Lucci is treating our dorm to a meal at Michelin today. I know you don't want to go, but he asked me to ask you again." I frowned, just about to refuse, when Louis's voice suddenly rang out behind me. Sure. I'm here. This must be your other roommate." He flashed what he thought was a very handsome smile, but halfway through his words, after seeing the various accessories on me, his expression shifted slightly. I looked at him leisurely and said directly, "I'm not interested in your get-together. You go ahead." Being turned down in front of Lu Shahir bit her lip in grievance and looked at Lucci, hoping he would say something on my behalf. But Lucci forced a stiff smile, then reached out to put an arm around her. Sure. Since your roommate doesn't want to go, let's not force it. Let's go. After dinner, we still need to go sing karaoke. Lucci led the two of them away, and I returned to the dorm. At 8 o'clock at night, the counselor sent me a message saying that my off-campus housing application form had been stamped and that I could move out tomorrow. I replied to the message and opened my moments only to see that a few minutes earlier Juan Schercher had posted several restaurant photos along with a caption, "Flowers, a restaurant romance belonging only to him and me." I frowned and exited WeChat after just one glance. At this moment, Juan Scherzer and Xiao, "You have already been dazzled by the Michelin restaurant and soon they'll find out exactly what kind of scum Lucci really is." I closed my eyes to sleep and at midnight my phone suddenly rang several times. I thought it was some important message, but when I picked it up and looked, I realized it was from Juan Shire. "Yen. Save me. Lucci is nothing but a beast. He took advantage of the fact that Xiaoyu and I were drunk and sent us to an old man's bed. Now only you can save us. Call the police quickly. I don't want to be tortured by that old man anymore." Seeing the message, my mind cleared a little. Sure enough, Lucci had done that. A couple of days ago, I asked an acquaintance to help investigate, and they got the whole situation with the Liu family figured out. The company the Liu family runs has been poorly managed over the past 2 years and has been going downhill. This year, it has even come close to bankruptcy. In order to bring in business for his family, Lucci deliberately used money to get close to some beautiful girls from ordinary or poor families. Once those girls fell for him, he would get them drunk and send them to the beds of various company bosses in order to secure partnerships. If those girls sobered up and said they wanted to call the police, he would threaten them, saying that if they did, he would first sue them for extortion and make them pay back the money they had spent on him. Many of the girls were young and scared by this, so in the end, they could do nothing about it. During military training, Louis had already seen from Juan Schercher's clothing that her family background was ordinary and that she would be easy to manipulate. Juan Schercher thought she had pretended to faint and hooked a rich second-generation heir, but in reality, she had given Louis an opportunity to take advantage of her. I turned off my phone and didn't call the police, just pretending I hadn't seen the message. Although this might seem a bit heartless to others, this path was chosen by Juan Schercher and the others themselves, and I have no obligation to save them. What I should do most is move out of the dorm first thing tomorrow morning and stay away from them so they won't go crazy like in my last life and blame me for everything. After I turned off the phone, it kept ringing several more times, as if unwilling to give up. I was so annoyed that I was just about to reach out and turn it off when it stopped on its own and fell silent. Too lazy to care whether one sharer on the other end had run into danger again, I closed my eyes and fell asleep peacefully. The next morning, I packed my luggage and went downstairs, planning to head straight to the newly bought apartment off campus. Unexpectedly, before I even left the school gates, I ran right into Juan Shire and Xiaoyu, who were returning to campus. The two of them were wearing hats, and although it was clearly summer, they were dressed in long sleeves and long pants, wrapped up tightly from head to toe, even keeping their heads down. I didn't recognize them at first. It wasn't until they looked up and saw me shouting my name that I realized who they were. Wanshur looked furious as she strode over with Xiao Yu equally annoyed following behind her. Qing Yan. Why didn't you help us call the police yesterday? Do you know how miserably you've gotten us into trouble? Wanshur had sinister intentions of her own, which was how she ended up like this. But instead of reflecting on herself, she blamed everything on me as soon as she returned to school. Her disgusting expression made me even more glad that I hadn't helped call the police last night. Otherwise, who knows whether after reporting it to the police, I might have been accused of meddling in something that wasn't my business. I said with a cold face. Wanshur, you're an adult. If you're in danger, you can call the police yourself. Why do you insist on making me help you? Wanshur glared with bloodshot eyes and said frantically. I already said it's inconvenient. I want you to help me. Do you know what kind of torture Xiao and I went through because you didn't call the police? She wanted nothing more than to kill me. And Xiao was also glaring at me with clenched teeth. Qing Yan, you're a vicious woman. You deliberately ignored us. Why don't you just die? She cursed at me with a distorted expression and even tried to hit me. My eyes turned cold and I slapped her without the slightest courtesy. Wanshur, who rushed up to take the chance to grab my hair, was also kicked away by me. Your own choices are your own responsibility. Didn't your parents teach you that? Wanshur, you chose to pretend to faint and fish for a rich second generation yourself. You accepted the flowers and bags and you've enjoyed everything you were meant to enjoy. Why is it that the moment something happens, you go crazy and blame me? Why don't you kneel down and slap yourself dozens of times and ask yourself why you did that in the first place? I truly look down on people like Wanshur and Xiaoyu. It's not that I look down on their desire to date rich second-generation heirs. I simply look down on the two of them. I've always believed that no matter what decision a person makes, it must be the result of careful thought. If they succeed, of course, they can be happy, but if they fail, they should also have the ability to clean up their own mess. Not only do these two lack the ability to clean up their own messes, they're also resentful of the rich. As soon as anything in their lives goes even a little bit wrong, they blame me for all of it. Like a madman, Xiaoyu stood frozen in place, thinking of something. His eyes filled with regret and pain. Wanshur's slapped cheek was red and swollen. At first, she glared at me bitterly, then suddenly turned to look at Xiaoyu. Yes, I had already given up. Xiaoyu, it was you. You were the one who kept telling me in my ear that I was young and beautiful and that I could definitely use this chance to hook a rich second-generation heir. You also said that as long as I got together with a rich second-generation heir, I'd never have to put up with Qin Yan's attitude again. It's all your fault. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have ended up like this. Wanshur's eyes were bloodshot, and her face was terrifying as she said this. She suddenly rushed over, grabbed Xiao by the neck, and forced her down to the ground, tightening her hands repeatedly. Xiaoyu had no defense at all. Her head slammed hard into the ground and her eyes bulged from being choked, her face turning bluish-purple. Frightened, I dragged my suitcase back several steps, and the other students passing by were startled as well. There are always a few people with bad intentions on a college campus because there are so many people around. But most are warm-hearted and friendly. After several college students were frightened, they gathered their courage and moved in, trying to pull the two apart. But Wanshur had already been blinded by fierce hatred and was gripping Xiao's neck so tightly that she would not let go. By the time everyone separated her from Xiaoyu, Xiaoyu was already dead. Ah. She killed someone. Someone looked at Wanshur, their expression terrified. Only then did Wanshur seem to come back to her senses and look at her own hands, her lips trembling. I killed someone. I killed someone. She repeated it several times. After the fear passed, her gaze turned fierce again. It's her own fault. She's the one who forced me into this. She deserves to die. Everyone around her dared not come closer, watching her wearily, dragging my suitcase. I looked at Wanshur's extreme behavior and quietly stepped back. Wanshur kept cursing under her breath, then suddenly turned around and glared at me fiercely, shouting, "And you too, Qing Yan. You deserve to die. If you had stopped me back then, I wouldn't have ended up like this." As she spoke, she lunged toward me. Seeing that she wasn't holding any weapon, several classmates around me hurriedly mustered up their courage and rushed forward to stand in front of me, trying to restrain her. I also heard several classmates on the phone calling the police. Seeing that she couldn't hurt me, Wanshur somehow found the strength to break free from the few people holding her and ran out of the school gate. I stood there and immediately decided to stay at the school for the time being. Wansher was already blinded by rage, and it would be very dangerous for me to leave the school now. Before long, the police arrived together with the forensic examiner. I cooperated by describing what had happened, and the police immediately began preparing to make the arrest. I dragged my suitcase out of the dorm building early that morning, and now I'm going back in again. Although having those two people's things in the dorm made me feel like it was cursed, right now staying alive was what mattered most. As it turned out, my caution in staying at school was the right choice, because that very night Wansher was caught by the police. When the police caught her, she was pinning Louis down and stabbing him over and over with a knife. Louis was already dead. But she still didn't stop. She kept stabbing while cursing Louis as a beast, as if she had gone completely mad. The police quickly restrained her, forced her into the patrol car, and took her back to the police station. The next day, after I learned that she had been arrested, I finally felt at ease and took my luggage to the off-campus apartment. Wansher killed 2 people in succession with brutal methods. Although there was a reason behind it, she still had to bear legal responsibility. The day she was sentenced to death, I had just won first place in the fashion design competition and received my first scholarship from the university. The past is behind me now, and a brighter future lies ahead. After the first mock exam of senior year, I decided to drop out and not take the college entrance exam. The teachers couldn't understand why, a surefire top scorer, was throwing away my bright future, and they came one after another to persuade me. Even my mother, who was battling cancer, threatened to give up treatment to pressure me. But I still wouldn't budge. In my past life, I followed everyone else and took the exam, only to become the first person ever accused of cheating on the college entrance exam. I felt wronged. And when I insisted I hadn't cheated, the inspection team released their investigation report. My exam answers were identical to those of the school beauty Tunjin. But she had turned in her paper nearly 30 minutes before me. I had no idea how this happened, so I could only show off my past grades and awards to prove I hadn't copied anyone's answers. But netizens refused to listen to my explanation. They said I had destroyed the fairness of the college entrance exam and deserved to die for my sins. Over the next few years, the relentless abuse gave me severe mental disorders. When my mother found out, she was devastated and passed away soon after. My father ran around tirelessly for me, filing appeals over and over until he died in a car accident. On the day Tanjin graduated from Tsinghua with a master's degree, I finally couldn't take it anymore and swallowed an entire bottle of sleeping pills. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day of the first mock exam of senior year 1. What are you spacing out for? It's already been 20 minutes since the exam started. Hurry up and answer the questions. The proctor tapped on my desk. I shuddered and the pen in my hand fell to the floor, involuntarily looking at the exam rules on the blackboard and my classmates scribbling furiously around me. I finally realized I had been reborn. Don't slack off just because you have good grades. The mock exam is the best way to gauge your true level. The proctor picked up my pen, placed it on the test paper, and returned to the podium. I stared at the Chinese exam paper in front of me, momentarily unsure how to begin. Tunjin, sitting in the front row, glanced back at me. The moment our eyes met, I saw the challenge in hers. If I remembered correctly, Tunjin started shining from this very mock exam. Her grades, which had always hovered in the middle, suddenly shot up to second place in the grade, just 1 point behind me. Who was first? Thinking back to our identical answers in the college entrance exam in my past life, maybe this was the start of a trap end at me. With that thought, I raised my hand. Teacher, I'm done. I want to turn in my paper. Another proctor walked over, glanced at my test paper, and his face instantly darkened. You haven't written the essay, and you haven't filled in the answer sheet. What are you turning in? The teacher's voice wasn't loud, but it caught the attention of the entire exam room. Don't forget, your recommendation hasn't come through yet. You still have to take the college entrance exam. I'm not taking the college entrance exam. What did you say? In my past life, it was because I took the exam that I became the first person accused of cheating. Not only were my exam results can-led, but I was also banned from taking the exam for life when I kept appealing to higher authorities, hoping public scrutiny would clear my name. The college entrance exam inspection team released their investigation report. My exam answers were identical to those of the internet-famous school beauty, Dongjin. But she had turned in her paper nearly 30 minutes before me. I couldn't believe it. So, I could only show off my usual grades and various awards to clear my name. But netizens didn't care. I've seen cyberbullying. but I've never seen someone bully themselves. If you dare to cheat on the college entrance exam, who knows what you'll do in society? They should sentence you to 3 to 5 years to teach you a lesson. Someone who cheats on the college entrance exam has no integrity. Who knows how you got your past grades? Maybe you cheated on those, too. As a candidate this year, we don't need an apology. Someone who destroys the fairness of the college entrance exam can't be forgiven unless they're torn apart. If you know what's good for you, you'd better go die when the online abuse was at its peak. My underground boyfriend of 1 year. The child star Jang Chin went live with Tom Cine in the video. Not only did they publicly announce their relationship, but they also insisted that I had cheated on the college entrance exam. In his words, I became a good for no delinquent who could never be a top scorer. They called on all major universities to blacklist me and demanded that no one in my family for 3 generations be allowed to take the college entrance exam. Even the principal and teachers who came forward to testify for me were accused of taking bribes and giving false testimony. I had originally planned to retake the exam, become the top scorer again 3 years later and slap them in the face. But after that live stream, I became infamous. Every year during the college entrance exam, I was dragged out as a cautionary tale. 3 years later, I was a rat everyone wanted to beat, with no school willing to take me. And even when I tried to work, I was kicked out. Over the next few years, the constant abuse gave me severe mental disorders. My parents ran around for me, filing appeals over and over, only to die in a car crash on their way back. The day Tom graduated from Tsinghua with a master's degree, I couldn't take it anymore. I swallowed an entire bottle of sleeping pills. Even in death, I couldn't understand why my exam papers were identical to hers since heaven has given me a second chance at life. I'm going to find out the truth, too. I'm not taking the college entrance exam anymore. Can I hand in my paper now? My voice was steady as ever, but the students in the exam hall erupted in murmurs. Didn't the head teacher say would be this year's top scorer? Why's she suddenly saying she won't take the exam? What's the point of being so smart with that kind of mental fortitude? I think she's all bark, no bite. I never saw her study that hard anyway. The whispers buzzed around me until the proctor barked in order, silencing the room. Mishu, do you think the college entrance exam is a joke? You can't just decide not to take it. She forced me back into my seat, pointing at the clock on the wall. You've got an hour left. Even if you have to sit there, you'll wait until it's time to hand in your paper up front. Tom Cine was biting her pen, looking deep, and thought she was sweet and cute. From the day she was born, her mom had started a social media account for her. Now she had over 10 million followers. She'd grown up right under the netizens' noses. The nation's sweetheart ever. Since Jian shot a short video with her, a lot of people started shipping them. I'd thrown plenty of tantrums out of jealousy, but Janan said it was just hype. More followers would help his acting career later to calm me down. He promised to go public with our relationship after graduation. But all I got in the end was a betrayal. I bit my lip until I tasted blood before letting go. Tom seemed to notice something was off. She kept glancing back at me until the proctor walked over and tapped her desk, making her stop. In my past life, we were in the same exam hall, but there was one person between us. The college entrance exam was the strictest test. 2 proctors, surveillance cameras, and even patrols outside. How did she copy my paper if it were just multiple choice questions? Fine. But how could she copy the essays for Chinese and English down to the last word? My gaze shifted back to the paper on my desk. Maybe I should think differently. When the bell rang for the end of the exam, I wrote the last word of my essay at the proctor saw my paper was fully filled out and didn't say anything more for the next few exams. I gave it my all, staying razor focused. The results of the first mock exam would be announced in 2 days. I didn't care about my own score, but Thompson's score was eating me alive before the results came out. The head teacher called me to her office. She slapped a stack of papers on the desk, her tone harsh. You're really something. My star student. Deliberately scoring 0. Mizwa. Are you flaunting your skills? Yeah. I filled the whole paper. But everything was wrong. Nailing every wrong answer. Controlling your score so precisely. No wonder I pegged you as the top scorer material. The head teacher had been teaching for years. She always valued me the most. Always saying things like, if you become the top scorer, I'll die without regrets. Thinking about how she had a heart attack worrying about me in my past life. My nose stunned, and I quickly looked down. Seeing me silent, The head teacher softened her voice. Misha, can you tell me why you did this? I clenched my fists, my eyes fixed on the papers on the desk. After a long pause, I heard my own voice. Teacher, can you tell me to see score first? The head teacher looked surprised but told me anyway. Seeing got full marks. All 6 subjects. Perfect scores. 3 perfect scores. What the hell is going on? The head teacher's words hit me like a sledgehammer, crushing the courage I'd built since my rebirth. Was Tom seen not copying my paper? No. That can't be. Ignoring the head teacher's protests, I frantically flipped through the stack of papers. When I saw Tom Seen's paper, I almost collapsed. Her calculation steps matched the wrong ones I'd deliberately written. Even the little marks I doodled under the questions while thinking were identical, down to the stroke. But her final answers were correct. How the hell did Tom Seen know the right answers? Tom has been improving a lot lately. I heard her mom spent a fortune on tutoring for her. The head teacher thought I was shaken and tried to comfort me. My mind went blank. I couldn't remember a single thing the homeroom teacher said after that. All I remembered was that by the time I got back to class, the news that Tom had scored full marks on the first mock exam had already spread across the entire school. In the classroom, Tom shyly clung to Jane Chen's arm. Seen, you're not only gorgeous, but you're this good at studying, too. I'm practically green with envy. When she saw me walking, Toman's little sidekick shot me a dirty look. Exactly. Our Scene earned that first place through her own hard work. Unlike some people who are already calling themselves the top scorer before the exam even started and then ended up with a big fat 0 on the mock test. What a joke. The bell rang. I ignored their sneers and sidestepped them to get back to my seat. This period was math class. The teacher had just stepped into the room when I raised my hand. I heard Tunjan got a perfect score. Why not let her walk us through the exam paper? The teacher was intrigued by my suggestion. When he asked for Tonan's opinion, she didn't rush to answer. Instead, she glanced back at Jane Chen behind me. Ms. Hua, haven't you caused enough trouble? Even if you're jealous that Seeing got full marks, you can't just disrupt the class like this. Jane Chen's face was red as he rushed to defend Tunjin. It hit me like a ton of bricks. He definitely knew something. I lowered my head and smiled. The teacher's analysis is from a teaching perspective, but a student's thought process is easier for us to follow. What's the matter? Tom got a perfect score, but can't explain her reasoning. Did she cheat to get that full mark and doesn't actually know how to solve the problems? Hearing that, Tunjin shut up from her seat. Since Misha wants to hear my thought process, I'll go ahead and explain it to everyone. She shot Jang in a reassuring look, then calmly walked up to the podium and started explaining from the first problem. I bit my nails, and the more I listened, the more alarmed I became. Her problem-solving approach was exactly the same as mine, especially the last big problem. Based on what we've learned in high school, it should be solved using a groupable sequence. But because I'd self-studied advanced math in my past life, I used classical probability model calculations. Could Tom Seen have also learned college-level material ahead of time like I did? The bell rang. The whole class burst into applause and the math teacher was grinning from ear to ear. I stumbled out to the rooftop dazed and burst into loud sobs. You still have the nerve to cry. I turned around. It was Jam Chin. You were trying to embarrass Seen in class just now, weren't you? Ms. Hua. How can you be so vicious? I seriously regret ever being with you. I wiped the tears off my face and let out a bitter laugh. If you regret it so much, then let's just break up. I was completely done with him. I didn't want to drag this out any longer. You're pulling this stunt again. How many times do I have to tell you Seen and I are just a publicity couple? Why can't you understand me for once? Go back now. Apologize to Seen in front of the whole class like a good girl and I'll agree not to break up with you. Jang Chen. I'm not joking. I'm not taking the college entrance exam. I'm dropping out tomorrow. Jen Chen froze for a second, then burst out laughing like he just heard the funniest joke ever. Didn't you say you were going to be the top scorer and use the prize money for your mom's medical bills? If you don't take the exam, what happens to your mom? Rely on your dad screwing bolts in a factory. By the time he makes enough, it'll be too little, too late. I shrugged with a carefree smile. Jen Chen had no idea. I was a genuine second-generation factory owner. My dad really had been screwing bolts in a factory over a decade ago, but he caught the wave of the Southern economic boom, made his first pot of gold, and used that money to open his own factory. And now my family does OEM work for major brands. My dad's net worth is at least 100 million. If I don't take the college entrance exam, I can just go home and inherit the family business. Besides, I wanted to see if I didn't take the exam, could Daman still snatch the top scorer title like she did in my past life, for I went to the homeroom teacher and told her I wasn't taking the college entrance exam. She was completely baffled. I know about your family situation. If the pressure is too much, the teacher can help you. She pulled a bank card out of her bag and placed it on the desk. There's 50,000 yuan in here. Think of it as a loan for me. Once you get into college, you can work part-time and pay me back slowly. I shook my head. My family doesn't need the money. I'm not taking the exam to save myself. The homeroom teacher spent the entire period trying to talk me out of it. But I clenched my jaw and refused to budge. She let out a sigh. If you ever want to retake the exam, contact me right away. I forced a smile that looked uglier than crying. I probably won't be able to give that speech at the exam mobilization assembly. Do you think you could? No need. I read your draft. It was very well written. It's too late to find a replacement now. Use this speech to say goodbye to your high school life. Seeing me still standing there motionless, the homeroom teacher nudged me. Go on. The students should already be gathering in the auditorium. By the time I arrived at the auditorium, the principal had just finished his speech, and it happened to be my turn to speak on behalf of all the senior 3 students. I took the microphone and pulled out the speech I had prepared earlier. After a passionate speech, a sparse round of applause echoed through the hall. I'm sorry I can't continue this journey with all of you. I've decided not to take this year's college entrance exam. I wish you all the best of luck and a bright future. The moment I finished speaking, Tomini suddenly rushed onto the stage. Ms. Hua, how dare you not take the exam out of over 200 students in the entire school? You're the only deserter. How can you have the nerve? A single tear rolled down her eye, making her look utterly wronged. We've been classmates for so long. I can't just watch you ruin yourself. I know your mom is sick. I can pay for her treatment. If you promise to take the exam, I'll even skip a few questions and let you be the top scorer. The crowd below buzzed with chatter. Yeah. With the exam so close. Now she says she's not taking it. What was the point of all those years of hard study expecting her to be the top scorer? Might as well bet on Scene. The homeroom teacher was so good to her and she just bails like this. I feel sorry for the teacher. Might as well give those resources to Scene. She's way better than this ungrateful brat. Scene is truly beautiful and kind. She clearly has the strength to be the top scorer. If Ms. Hua doesn't accept, she's just being ungrateful. I forcefully pushed her hand off my arm. I don't need help and I have no problems. In a few days, I'll be heading to work. I wish you all the best in achieving your goal and becoming the champion. With that, I picked up my bag from the floor and strode out of the auditorium, ignoring the principals. Please. At the school gate, the car from the estate was already waiting for me. Driver, Uncle Sue, personally opened the door for me. Miss, Mr. and Mrs. Me's flight is delayed. We'll make it to the airport in time if we leave now. I rushed to the airport with flowers in hand, my heart burning with anxiety. 2 weeks ago, my dad took my mom to the capital to consult with specialists. I had no idea how her condition was. The broadcast announced the arriving flights and soon I saw my parents walking out hand in hand and my dad happily took the flowers from me. I was about to throw myself into my mom's arms to ask about her illness, but she slapped my hand away. The moment I got off the plane, I got a call from your classmate Tomini. She said, "You're throwing a fit about not taking the exam and going to work in a factory. What's going on?" I pursed my lips and tears streamed down my face. My mom panicked a little. I scold you once and you act all wronged. Fine. Don't take it if you don't want to. Mom won't ask. Hearing her soft, soothing words, my tears only flowed harder. Sharua studies until 1 or 2 in the morning every day. It breaks my heart to see it. I'm Misham's daughter. Even if she can't read a single word, who dares look down on her? Simi couldn't help but laugh. My dad finally breathed a sigh of relief on the way home. My dad told me about my mom's condition. My mom had thyroid cancer, the most curable type of cancer, with surgical removal. The survival rate is high. Besides, my mom caught it early. Active treatment wouldn't affect her future life back home. We had our first reunion dinner since my rebirth. After eating and drinking our fill, my mom cautiously spoke up. Tell Mom. Has someone been bullying you at school? Tell me and I'll go settle the score for you. I studied my emotions and laid out everything from both lives. My mom hugged me, tears flowing endlessly. My daughter. You've been wronged. My dad angrily stubbed out his cigarette. These bastards. I was playing dirty tricks before they were even born. Messing with my daughter. I'll make them pay. Sweetheart. You've worked hard studying these past months. Take the rest of the time to relax. Leave this to your dad to investigate. 5. After the family discussion, I went to school to withdraw. Just as I came out of the principal's office, I ran into Jang Chin's Iosua. I passed the film academy interview. There are plenty of beauties there if you keep throwing tantrums. Don't expect to be my girlfriend anymore. When I didn't respond, he awkwardly lowered his head when he looked up at me again. His eyes were red as if he was falling apart. I've already talked to Scene. We're not doing the fan service anymore. So, stop being mad. Swear. Be good. Let's take the exam together and go to the capital. Jang Chen's fickle face only confirmed that he and Tom were birds of a feather. I didn't want to waste another word on him and turned to leave in the days that followed. I completely gave up every day. I ate my fill and slept, even catching up on all the shows I'd missed before. Finally, one day, my mom couldn't take it anymore. She yanked me out of bed. Your dad's running around like crazy, and you're just lounging at home like a parasite. Didn't you say you were going to the factory to screw bolts today? You're going into the factory on the sweltering assembly line. I was really in work clothes screwing bolts. Luckily, I'm a quick learner. Within a day, I had the hang of it. My dad was really pleased and raised my pay to $200 a day. After a week straight of screwing bolts, my arms were sore and swollen, and my hands didn't feel like my own anymore. I thought life would just go on like this until my homeroom teacher suddenly showed up at my door. Balancing work and study must be tough. I touched the dark circles under my eyes from staying up late to watch shows and gave an awkward smile. You didn't give me a heads up before coming. The beef rice at our cafeteria is great. Let me take you to try it. The teacher smiled at me. I didn't come here to eat today. I came specifically to find you. Me. She pulled me down to sit and spoke slowly. I've always thought it's a shame you're not taking the college entrance exam. Just so happens I heard a private school in Shanghai wants to recruit talent like you. So, I came to ask your opinion over there. You don't have to be the top scorer. Just score above 700 and you'll get a 100,000 yuan bonus. Scoring 700 is a piece of cake for me. 100,000 yuan is practically free money. Even though I'm not strapped for cash, I couldn't help but be tempted. But then I thought, transferring school still means taking the college entrance exam, doesn't it? As my mind raced, I stayed cautious. Teacher, the second mock exam results are out. Right. How did the class do overall? Not bad. The average score is above 600. But Thompson's performance has been too unstable lately. She dropped from a perfect score in the first mock to 490. The moment the teacher finished, I tensed up. Her grades dropped that much after I dropped out. Was that her real level after that perfect score? She's been under a lot of pressure. Her mom says she's been in a bad mental state lately. The school was worried something might happen, so they gave her a few days off. Impossible. I was scrolling through my phone yesterday and saw her mom's video channel. In the video, Tom Scene was sharing study tips with netizens, looking nothing like someone in a bad mental state. My gut told me something was off. And teacher Sue as a senior homeroom teacher. It wasn't a weekend today. She specifically left school affairs to come find me at the factory. Could she have been used by someone sick? Teacher, I'll be straight with you. My family isn't struggling at all. The factory where I'm screwing bolts is my family's. My dad is the boss here. The teacher stood there stunned like she didn't understand what I was saying. Just then, the assembly line manager came by with fruit. When he respectfully called me miss, the teacher finally snapped out of it. Look at this mess. I meant well. Wanted to help you. I waved my hand dismissively. Teacher Sue, can you tell me where you heard about the private school recruiting? The teacher looked up the glass window at the spinning assembly line and smiled sheepishly. It was Jang Chan who told me. He said you two had a fight and he couldn't reach out directly. So, he wanted me to help. I know you and Jang Chin were dating and I was afraid you'd refuse if you knew it was his idea. So I didn't tell you earlier. You're not mad at me, are you? I shook my head and gave a bright smile. Of course not. Jang Chin and Tun Jin really never give up. Do they going through all this trouble to make me take the exam again? There's no way there's nothing fishy going on after seeing the teacher off. I thought for a long time alone. They're closing in from all sides. And hiding won't do any good. Instead of waiting for them to strike, I might as well take the initiative. But before I could figure out my next move, my dad burst through my door, looking excited. I know what's going on. With just over a month left until the college entrance exam, the final third mock exam was coming up. I called my homeroom teacher and agreed to transfer to the private school. The teacher was overjoyed and immediately arranged the transfer. On my first day at the new school, it happened to be the third mock exam. I looked at the test paper and curled my lips into a cold smile. Those whom the gods wish to destroy, they first make mad. A few days later, the results came out. Unsurprisingly, I scored a perfect 100. Tunjin once again topped the grade rankings. At the same time, Chen posted a video officially announcing his relationship with Tunjin. I waved my hand and dropped 5,000 on promoting it. After all, the bigger the scene, the better the show. Under my push tags like First Love, White Moonlight, and Golden Boy and Jade Girl shot up the trending list. Woo, woo, my ship has sailed. Golden Boy and Jade Girl forever. After the clouds part, the moon shines bright. Jim Shaw finally has a title. No more sneaking glances at Scene. Scene really is the daughter I watched grow up. She aced the mock exam with a perfect score. This old mother is crying with emotion. This is just the beginning. Scene will definitely get a perfect score on the college entrance exam too. Family wait for Scene to bring us back a top scholar. I stared at the screen, my smile never fading until the flight attendant came over to remind me. Only then did I reluctantly turn off my phone. In first class, my mom wore a worried expression. Old me is the person you found reliable. For our daughter's sake. Even if it's a scammer. We have to try. Time flew by. A month later, I returned to Deep City just in time for the college entrance exam. Just like in my past life, I was assigned to the same exam hall as Tom Sine before the exam started. She came up to me looking like she had it all in the bag. You still haven't figured it out and you dare to show up for the exam. I think you've studied yourself. Stupid. Misha. What's the use of being good at studying? This year's top scholar can only be me and you're only fit to be trampled into the mud by me. Jang Chin came over, gave her a light kiss on the forehead, then sneered at me. Mishu. I don't have to pretend with you anymore. Every word I said to you made me sick. Think about it. I'm going to be a star someday. Why would I ever fall for a mediocre bookworm like you? They thought this would shatter my resolve. But I felt nothing inside. I even wanted to give their harsh words a thumbs down. I'm going to give it my all in this exam. Tunjin. Let's see who ends up as the top scholar. 7. The test paper in front of me was one I'd already taken in my past life. So I basically knew the answers. Time ticked by. And my pen never stopped. By the time I wrote the last word, there were still 30 minutes left before the exam ended. I put down my pen. CH checked there were no issues. And chose to hand in my paper. 3 days later, after the last exam, I felt refreshed and light. Seeing my mom waiting for me at the school gate in a custom-made cheongsam, I sprinted out of the exam hall. My dad wiped away a tear. No matter if it works out or not, Dad has already found a backup plan for you if worst comes to worst. We'll go study abroad. I'll sell the factory and our family will immigrate. Don't talk nonsense like that. Our daughter is this year's top scholar. I shyly nestled in my mom's arms, acting spoiled when suddenly a female voice came from behind. Mizwa. What did you do to me? Tom stormed over, her face full of rage, raising her hand to strike me. I cut her hand quickly and flung it away. What could I do? I just took the exam. Honestly. Impossible. You must have done something to me. I was the top student in the whole school. How could I not remember anything? Toman's eyes darted around, muttering to herself. Suddenly, she pointed at me, her gaze sharpening. It must be you. Mizwa. You'll stoop to anything to be the top scholar. I'm going to report you. You stole my results. Mizwa. Get ready to be ruined. Watching her deranged eyes, I felt nothing but contempt. I should be asking you. What did you do to me? Tonine's eyes went wide. She looked at me in disbelief. You know that night my dad was dining with a client and happened to bring up my situation. Coincidentally, that client had just returned from the Tibetan region. He said the masters there were incredibly skilled and suggested we let them take a look. Maybe they could find a solution. Before leaving, I deliberately took the mock exam to let Toman let her guard down. On the second day after arriving in the Tibetan region, through a middleman's introduction, we met the Rimpos. He circled me 3 times, placed his right hand on my head and chanted a Buddhist sutra. Instantly, my head felt like it was splitting open, like a rusty blunt knife was scraping back and forth inside my skull. I rise in agony on the ground, banging my head against the floor. Blood trickled down my forehead, staining the temple's tiles red. My mom couldn't stop crying, and my dad dropped to his knees, cowing repeatedly. "Master, please save my daughter." Amipa the Reno chanted a Buddha's name and helped my dad up. "This young disciple has been afflicted by dark arts." With that, he pressed both hands on the top of my head. The pain in my brain gradually faded, and a warmth spread through my body. That warmth started from my limbs, traveled through my whole body, and gathered at the crown of my head. Am I seeing this right? How is there a needle in my daughter's head? My dad's voice trembled uncontrollably. "Bastard. Who the hell is trying to harm my daughter? Master, will my daughter be okay? Cure her for me. I'll do anything." From what I can see, this silver needle has been soaked in corpse oil. Only twins can share each other's thoughts. If I'm not mistaken, there's a silver needle inside that person, too. She's using this method to read your daughter's mind. If this continues, the young disciple's thoughts will gradually fade away, and she'll completely become a puppet of the other person. I suddenly remembered passing out during PE class a year ago, and waking up with a splitting headache. It must have been then. Tunjin took the chance to stab that needle into my brain. "Don't worry, disciple. I'll go into seclusion for a month to exorcise the spirits. But I'll have to ask the benefactor to stay here for now. Only when I emerge from seclusion will the curse truly be broken." My parents thanked the Renos over and over. He bowed and replied with a single Adba. And so, I stayed in the temple for a month. Aside from eating, I meditated for 12 hours a day, reciting the Heart Sutra on repeat. 30 days later, the Reno emerged from seclusion just in time for me to take the college entrance exam soon. The crowd around the exam hall was drawn by the commotion and gathered around as Tunjin screamed like a mad woman, demanding I give her back my test scores. Suddenly, a gasp rippled through the crowd. Blood began to trickle slowly from Tongin's eyes, nose, ears, and mouth. 8. What's happening to me? What did you do? Tong's 7 orifices were bleeding, making her look like a demon crawling out of hell. What could I do? You brought this on yourself. He's evil reaps disaster. Those who harm others will eventually be consumed by their own curse. With that, I turned and got into the car behind me. Jiang Chen's furious curses rang out. I didn't even look back, calmly telling the driver to go. After the exam, our whole family went to the capital for my mom's surgery with the top surgeon in the country operating. The surgery was a complete success. When we returned to Shinshin, I got a call from my homeroom teacher. "Misha, don't worry about what's online. I've reported the situation to the principal and the school will speak up for you." I was completely confused until I opened my phone and logged into social media. That's when I found out Tongin's mom, a million-follower influencer, had posted a video accusing me of stealing her daughter's exam scores. The internet was tearing me apart. Seen as a huge influencer and she still dares to bully her. Her family background needs to be investigated. Arsene is a top student. Perfect scores on every mock exam. Who the hell is Mizwa? Daring to rig the college entrance exam. She must have a death wish. I've already reported her on the government website. Dear thing. Netizens. My dad let out a cold laugh. I haven't even settled the score with them and they're already crying foul. He made one phone call. 10 minutes later, the trending topics exploded. The school also released a statement at the same time, even attaching all the awards I'd won in high school. Mishu is the eyes of the Me family. Why would she need to steal your exam scores? She could get into Harvard with a recommendation letter. I was her classmate in middle school. She was always a top student representing the school in competitions. Does Tom Seen have paranoid delusions? I've never seen her post her scores in all these years. Perfect scores on every mock exam. Then how did she only get 400-something on the second mock? Faced with the netizens' doubts, Tom Seen stayed silent like a mute, refusing to explain until the day before the results came out. Genshin somehow found my house. Xiaoa. It was that Tom who made me do it. I never wanted to hurt you. I still like you in my heart. I looked down from the second-floor balcony and nearly fell over in shock. Yong Chen's once handsome face was now covered in pitted, oozing holes, blood still seeping out. Toman said, "You didn't deserve to be the top scorer. She told me to cast a dark spell on you and steal your exam results. It was all her idea. I was forced into it." Xiaoa. Save me. I pulled out my phone, recorded everything you said, and posted it online. Social media exploded using dark magic to steal exam scores. Is Tom seeing insane? I saw her in the hospital a few days ago. She really does seem crazy. What sane person tries to drill open their own skull? Maybe she's not crazy. Maybe she's suffering from the backlash of the dark spell. And I actually shipped them as a couple. They deserve everything they got. Jang Chen's face is ruined and he can kiss his entertainment career goodbye. Soon after, my results came out. I actually got full marks. 20 points more than in my past life. At the end of August, I stood exactly as I'd wished before the gates of Tsinghua University. The senior sister in front of me took my luggage. Junior, welcome to Tsinghua. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. My phone buzzed in my palm. I was standing at the entrance of the Municipal No. 1 high school exam site. The line of test takers snaked half a lap around the barrier. My admission ticket was tucked into the outermost pocket of a transparent file folder. Its corner already curled with a white crease from flipping through it too much last night. A text message popped up on the screen. City Admissions Office reminder. All City College entrance exam sites remain unchanged. Candidates must arrive early based on the address on your admission ticket. Do not trust unofficial notifications. My thumb hovered over the screen. But before I could tap it, the class group chat suddenly pinged with a voice message. The sender was Samayon. Her profile picture's red dot flashed once, followed by Teacher Chen's voice squeezing out of the phone speaker, tinged with static. Attention everyone. The Note 2 middle school area has a temporary power outage. Some exam rooms at the Municipal Note 1 high school site have been adjusted. The whole class will go to the backup site at Nanqing. A bus will depart from the school gate in 10 minutes. Hand documents to Samian for safekeeping first. Don't wander off. The guy in front of me turned his head. A half-eaten fried dost stick dangling from his mouth. He muttered a curse. Damn. For real. A few people in the line had already pulled out their phones. Someone said, "That's the teacher's voice." Others stayed quiet, just shoving their admission tickets into their backpacks. Over by the barrier, the bus door was open with a red paper strip reading exam support vehicle taped to the side. One corner of the paper flapped in the wind, slapping against the door. Samian stood by the bus door, her white sun protection jacket zipped up to her chin, holding a transparent document pouch. It was the kind the school issued uniformly before exams. Wide zipper opening already stuffed with a few ID cards. The blue and white admission ticket corners overlapping. She took documents from classmates, passing them over, smiling at the crowd. Don't panic. I'll keep them safe and hand them out on the bus. Otherwise, scrambling at Nunning's gate will waste more time. I looked down and pulled my own admission ticket out of the file folder. Exam site Municipal Note 1 High School. The exam room number and seat number were below, printed clearly in black. On the back, there was a small sticker my mom had stuck on last night. Its edge not fully adhered, feeling a bit sticky against my fingertip. The group chat was already exploding. For real. My dad just left. Samian, did you confirm? Teacher Chen's voice was sent. How could it be fake? Samian replied quickly. I just confirmed with the teacher. Stop asking. There's no time. Everyone get on the bus first. The next second, Linu mentioned me. Zixia. Don't be stubborn. Samian already confirmed with the teacher. As soon as he sent that, he walked over from the bus. His school uniform jacket was draped over his arm, the hair on his forehead a bit damp like he jogged all the way. He didn't look at the text on my phone first. His eyes landed on my admission ticket. Why are you still standing here? He reached out to take it. Everyone's waiting for you. I stepped back half a step, my back hitting the barrier. The metal pole was hot from the sun. The admission ticket says Municipal No 1 High School. I flipped it to show him. The text says it hasn't changed. Linu glanced at it, his brow furrowing, not from reading the content, but from annoyance at me. The text might be delayed. He lowered his voice. On a day like this, don't pick a fight with Samian. Okay. She's running around helping the teacher. Do you have to make her look bad? I didn't respond. I just took a photo of the admission ticket address and posted it in the group chat. As soon as the picture went out, someone shouted from the bus door. Liu still waiting for Sui Sha and Qin Sha Sha. Qin Sha Sha stood by the bus stop, clutching her admission ticket, her fingernails digging a small crease into the paper edge. She glanced at the document pouch in Sumian's hand, then looked at me, her lips moving, but no sound coming out. Sumian heard it too. She walked forward a couple of steps, the pouch in her hand. The IDs inside slid, making a faint rustling sound against the plastic. Xia. Her voice was soft, but her eyes reddened first. It's fine if you don't trust me. But this is the college entrance exam. Don't gamble with the whole class's future out of spite. A boy next to him immediately chimed in. Exactly. Isn't it enough that you always rank first in exams? Today you have to act like you're the most clear-headed. 2. Some people didn't speak. Just looked down at their phones. A girl handed her admission ticket halfway, then pulled it back, whispering. But the official text message. Official texts are slow to send out. Sumian cut her off, pulling the document pouch closer to herself. The teacher's last-minute notice is the most up-to-date. Liu's hand was still suspended in midair. He stared at me, his voice lower than before. Sujisha, you're good at this. You can retake a year if you miss one exam. They can't. The bus driver honked again. The door behind Sumian swayed. She gripped the transparent document pouch tight, the zipper head clinking against the plastic edge just as Linu's fingers brushed the corner of my admission ticket. I yanked the paper back. The raised white edge scraped past his fingertips. Liu froze for a second, then lowered his voice. What are you doing? Let me hold it for you. Don't dawdle. I'll hold it myself. Over by Sumian. Over a dozen people had gathered. She pried open the transparent document pouch. Inside pressed a few ID cards. The blue and white admission ticket corners stacked together. Someone handed over their ID. Someone else was still rummaging through their backpacks in her pocket, the zipper catching twice in a hurry. Xia. We really don't have time. Sumian glanced at the driver, then back at me, her eyelashes glistening with moisture. If you don't want to hand it to me, fine. But don't block everyone from getting on the bus. Okay. Someone nearby immediately added. She's not blocking the bus. She just wants to look like the most clear-headed one. Another person held up their phone, muttering. But this text from the admissions office. Texts are slow to send out. Sumian tucked the document pouch behind her. The teacher's last-minute notice is the most up-to-date. Chin Sha was still standing on the bus step, 1 foot inside the vehicle, 1 foot out. The corner of her admission ticket crumpled in her grip. Sumian reached out. Sure, give yours to me. 2. I'll hand them out by seat number later. Chin Sha didn't let go that exam site in Nanqing. Can our class really get in? Sumian's mouth stiffened for a split second. Then she quickly smiled. If the teacher says we can get in, we can. Don't let her lead you astray. The moment that word dropped, several gazes turned to me. Liu stepped forward, blocking between me and Chin Sha. His school uniform jacket brushed against my document pouch and the spare tub pencil inside rolled its tip poking through the plastic into my palm. Suji Sha. He used my full name. This isn't just your exam today. The whole class is on this bus. Are you really going to hold things up here? I lit up my phone. The photo I'd taken of the admission ticket address was still sitting in the chat box. The group chat was scrolling fast. Someone urging hurry up. Someone replaying Sumian's voice message. I reopened the official text, my finger just touching the send button, when Linu suddenly pressed down on my screen. The phone dipped, nearly slipping out. Don't send that. He stared at me. If you send this now, you want everyone to panic on the road. Let go. Get on the bus first. He didn't let go, his voice even lower. When we get to Nanqing. If you're not sure, I'll go with you to ask the teacher. Deal. I looked at his hand. He glanced away for a moment, then frowned. Sumian's been contacting the teacher since 5 o'clock in the morning. Her voice is hoarse. You just say the text is delayed and you wipe out everything she's done. Sumian, as if reminded, coughed, pressing the back of her hand to her mouth. A girl next to her studied her. Minion. Get on the bus first. Don't waste time with her. Someone inside the bus also shouted. Linu. Hurry up. Suji. If you're not getting on, don't drag us down. A boy by the window cracked it open a sliver. Maybe call Teacher Chin again. Someone immediately slapped his shoulder. You call then, did it go through? The driver checked his watch. Hands on the steering wheel. And honked again. The security guard glanced over, then got held up by a parent holding an admission ticket. Taking advantage of Linu's distraction, I pulled my phone out from under his hand. The screen had a sweaty fingerprint from his thumb. I wiped it with my uniform sleeve. Opened the group voice message. And hit save. The notification had just popped up when Samian stepped forward. Xia. Why are you saving the voice message? I didn't answer. I locked the screen and shoved the phone into my pocket. Sumian's tears fell. The back of her hand covering half her face. I know you've never liked me talking to Liu. But on a day like this, can you just not? Where's Teacher Chin? Her hand wiping tears. Stopped. Liu immediately jumped in. The teacher is obviously coordinating the exam site. What's the point of asking that? The whole class is changing exam sites. Why didn't Teacher Chin type it in the group? Why did he have you send a voice message? Why are the documents handed to you? Chin Sha slowly pulled the foot that was inside the bus back out. Samian saw it and reached out to pull her. Sha. Don't. Chin Sha jerked back, nearly dropping her admission ticket. She bent to pick it up, hitting her forehead on the car door handle, wincing as she sucked in a breath. Lin Yu's face darkened. He turned and shouted toward the car. Stop waiting. Get in now. She can come or not. Samian clutched the document bag. The zipper not fully closed. A corner of an ID card poking out from inside. She sniffled. Everyone sit tight. I'll hand them out one by one when we get there. Liu walked up to me. His voice low. You really have to make a scene today. I'm not getting in. He stared at me for a few seconds. His jaw tight. Fine. He said. Then deal with the consequences yourself. Someone by the car door called out again. Still waiting for Suji Xia. The driver didn't wait this time. Reaching for the close button, Chin Xiaosha stood by the car, clutching her admission ticket. Her face pale. I am not handing mine in either. The door jammed halfway. A beep beep warning sound ringing out. The driver leaned out halfway. Are we going or not? If we drag this out any longer, we won't make it into Nanqing either. Someone in the car pushed the window open. Hot air mixed with breakfast smells spilling out. A girl by the aisle tapped the seat impatiently. Chin Sha. What are you doing down there? Get on. Chin Sha gripped her admission ticket. Her knuckles white. She looked at me, then at the transparent document bag in Sumian's arms. Her lips moving twice. I'll hold on to mine for now. Sumian hadn't even wiped her tears dry. Her fingers instantly pressing down on the bag's opening. The exposed corner of the ID card was pushed back in. The plastic bag crinkling with a soft sound. Liney turned to look at her. His tone harsh. You're going along with her, too. Chin Sha took a step back. Her heel hitting the curb. She looked down, trying to shove the admission ticket into her school uniform pocket. Failing twice. I turned on my phone. The group chat was already flooded. Just let Sujisha skip it. Don't drag us down. Samian. Just tell the driver to go. She's just scared everyone will go to the new test center. And she won't be first. One message quickly got pushed up. I got the text from the admissions office. 2. As soon as that popped up, Linny sent a voice message in the group. Everyone. Don't panic. Do what Samian says and get on. I'll handle Suji Xia. She's probably just nervous. Don't let her lead you. Someone in the car immediately replied. Alright. Alright. As long as Linu's here, we're good. Others didn't say anything. Just rolled the window down a bit. Watching me through the glass. The phone screen was hot from the sun. I tapped the input box and typed into the group. I'm not going to Nanqing. My admission ticket says the test center is City No 1 High School. And the official message says no change. Everyone check your tickets first. Don't hand them over. As soon as the message sent, replies came in. Are you annoying? It's almost time and you're still typing. If you're not going, don't curse us. Samian stood by the car door. Her voice trembling with tears. Xia. I really didn't mean to hurt anyone. Everyone knows what I'm like. Why do you have to do this today? The girl next to her supported her. Exactly. Who would dare to make up a test center change on the day of the college entrance exam? I didn't argue. Just screenshotted those messages. As soon as the screenshot notification popped up, Lina grabbed the top half of my phone. You're screenshotting. Suji Xia. What exactly are you trying to do? Keep it to blame Samian later. His fingers pressed against the screen's edge. His voice catching. Don't make this so ugly. I pulled the phone back. But he held on Chin Xiao standing nearby. Whispered. Linu. Let her send it. What if? What if it really hasn't changed? Someone in the car immediately shouted. Chin Xiao. Don't jinx it. Another guy's voice was low. She's not wrong. Someone next to him patted him. Forget it. Just keep quiet. I used that moment to pull my phone free and dialed Teacher Chen's number. The call went through. Only a steady waiting tone in the earpiece. It rang 6 times. No answer. Lou immediately raised his voice. See, the teacher's busy coordinating now. No time for your call. Can you stop causing trouble? Sumian wiped her tears. But her other hand handed the document bag to a guy in the car. Help me put it in the front. Don't lose it. I saw her hand leave the bag for that second and press record. I called Teacher Chen a second time. Still no answer. Chin Sha leaned in closer. Her voice so soft it was almost drawn by the horn. Should I call too? Just as she pulled out her phone, Sumian called to her. Shirao. Don't waste time. Get on now. I'll still save you a seat. Chin Xiao's hand stopped at her pocket. I sent another message in the group. I called Teacher Chen twice. No answer. Don't hand over your ID or exam admission ticket. Everyone return to city. No. One high school exam site for verification. The group chat went silent for a few seconds soon. Linu sent a text. Suisha. Can you stop creating panic on the day of the college entrance exam? Sumian immediately reshared that Teacher Chen voice message. A 6-second voice note hung on the screen. Someone in the car directly tapped it on speaker and Teacher Chen. The whole class goes to the South City backup exam site played again. Someone cursed. Unbelievable. Someone kicked their backpack under the seat. Someone leaned against the window. Silent. The corner of their admission ticket in their hand crumpled soft. The driver didn't wait. He raised his hand and pressed the door close button. Chin Sha jerked back. The door grazed her sleeve as it shut. She clutched her admission ticket and stood next to me. Her voice trembling. I am still going into City No 1 High School with you. Just before the door closed, Sumian looked at me through the glass. Tears still clung to her face, but her lips were pressed tight. Suddenly, a photo popped up in the group chat. A transparent document pouch was placed on the front seat of the bus. The pouch bulged at the opening. A dozen IDs and admission tickets stacked together. The sender was Suman. Everyone's documents are with me. Don't panic. When the bus started, the whole vehicle lurched. The red paper sticker on the door that read College Entrance Exam Support Vehicle was lifted by the wind and slapped against the glass. Someone inside reached out to hold the window frame. Someone else was still sending messages in the group chat. The screen flickering below Sumian's photo. Replies quickly appeared. Minion. You worked hard as long as the documents are with you. Don't be scared off by certain people. Sujisha is something else. She won't go herself and she wants to drag all of us down here. Someone just sent a period and then retracted it. Chin Xia stood next to me. Her shoulders tense. She looked down at her own admission ticket. Her thumb rubbing the words City No 1 High School twice. Her voice was barely a whisper. They really left. I saved Sumian's photo of the document pouch. When my finger depressed the screen, the phone was still hot. The saved notification had just disappeared when Lin Ye's profile picture popped up again. Suji Xia. Are you satisfied now? Through the window. He sat by the door, looking at me through the glass. The classmates next to him were squeezed together. Someone mouthed a curse at me. Someone turned their face away. A guy raised his hand as if to say something, but the person next to him tugged his sleeve. Sumian sat in the front row. The transparent document pouch was on her lap. She lowered her head and zipped the pouch closed. The zipper got stuck and she picked at it with her fingernail before yanking it all the way down. I raised my phone, trying to take a picture of the license plate. Linux, as if he'd been waiting for it, suddenly reached up from the window and yanked the curtain down. The gray-blue curtain blocked half the glass. The license plate was also partially obscured by the crowd stirred up by the bus's tail. Stop filming. His voice squeezed through the crack in the window. Do you really want to make everyone look bad? The driver honked again. A security guard jogged over from the school gate, frowning and shouting, "Don't block the gate here. Candidates, move inside. Don't stand at the entrance." I stepped back under the camera above the school gate. The lens casing was black and shiny. Next to it hung a small blue sign that read, "Exam Site Entrance." Chin Xia followed me, still clutching her admission ticket. Her lips were pale. Zuxia. Should we call them back? The car started to roll forward. Someone inside pushed the window open and yelled at me. Suisha. Don't jinx us. Another girl's voice was sharper. When you get to South City, don't say you didn't try to stop us. Someone else just slipped down. Not out the window. Their fingers typing on their phone. A message jumped into the group chat. She just wants to take the first exam at the original site. Suman didn't send another voice message. She just looked at me through the window. The tear tracks on her face weren't dry yet. But her hand pressed down on the document pouch, making the edge of the bag sink. And I didn't chase the bus. I aimed my phone camera at the direction the bus was leaving and recorded a few seconds. I only caught the last 4 digits of the license plate. As the bus turned out of the school gate, the red paper was lifted by the wind, revealing the glue marks of an old advertisement underneath. Susia Chin Sha Sha suddenly tugged my sleeve. I followed her gaze in the class group chat. Su Man had sent another message. Xia. I know you want to be first. But don't curse everyone else into failing. Below it. A string of replies immediately followed. So disgusting. She was filming the car just now trying to get proof that we left on our own. Right. Selfish. A buzzkill. I locked my phone. I didn't reply just then. The broadcast at the school gate crackled to life. The female voice was dragged a bit horsero by the current. Please. Candidates taking the Chinese language exam. Bring your admission ticket and ID and enter the exam site in an orderly manner. Chin Sha took a breath. As if just remembering she was still standing outside the door. She unfolded the admission ticket from her palm. The edges already crumpled from being squeezed. I put my phone in my pocket and walked toward the security checkpoint behind me. The group chat was still buzzing. Lynn. You sent a new message. You better actually get in. Some people don't just rely on raw scores. The checkpoint desk was bleached white by the sun. The teacher pressed a stack of writing pads under the registration book and looked up at me. Admission ticket. ID card. I handed over the document bag. The tips of my fingers touched the plastic edge and I realized my palms were soaked with sweat. Chin Sha Sha stood behind me. Her backpack zipper not fully closed. Half a black pen sticking out. She reached to push it back in. But it tilted wrong twice. The teacher finished checking my documents and then looked at Chin Sha Sha. Take it easy. One at a time. Turn off your phone and leave it here. I was just about to press the power button when my phone buzzed again. Lynn's 2 messages were still on the screen. You better actually get in. Some people don't just rely on raw scores below them. A flood of new messages scrolled in. We're already out of the city. Why haven't we seen the exam site in South City yet? Is the driver taking a detour? Sumian asked the teacher. Quick soon. Sumian sent a voice message. Her voice was still choked with tears. But more urgent than before. Don TT say that everyone. We're almost there. All the documents are with me. Nothing's lost. As for Xia. She's already decided not to come with us. Someone immediately replied. She did it on purpose. Why didn't she stop the car earlier? She's safe at her original exam site. But what about us? Chin Sha Sha saw these messages from behind my shoulder. Her face turning pale. How can they say that? You just now phoned the security teacher tapped the desk. Candidates don't linger at the entrance. I didn't reply to the group. Instead, I saved the photo of the document bags had sent again. As the screen showed the save confirmation, the teacher frowned. Student. Turn it off. Just a second. My finger was about to slide to the power off button when a new photo suddenly popped up in the group chat. It was from Sumian again. The transparent document bag was spread across her lap. The zipper already closed. Tight. Over a dozen ID cards and admission tickets were pressed together. The top one showing a corner of the name column with someone else frantically rummaging through a backpack beside it. The caption was just one line. Suji Xia. Are you satisfied now? Chin Sha Sha sucked in a breath. Her voice stuck in her throat. How could she? The security teacher beside her also caught a glimpse of the photo. Their hand pausing on the registration book. What's this? I turned the screen face down without handing it over. On the other side of the desk. Another candidate urged. Teacher. Can you hurry up? The broadcast is already calling. Someone squeezed past us. The sleeve of their uniform brushing against my document bag. The admission ticket inside tilting crookedly. The broadcast echoed through the hall. The current dragging out the last syllable. Please proceed to the exam room immediately. No entry allowed 15 minutes after the exam starts. Chin Xiao Sha grabbed my wrist in a panic. Xia. Should you tell the teacher first? Their documents are all with Sumian. If she before she could finish. My phone buzzed again. Lynn. You sent a voice message. The first half leaked up through the speaker. Suji Xia. Don't pretend you didn't see it. Everyone's documents are handed in. And now I cut it off immediately. The security teacher's lip toward me shifted. Student. Turn off your phone first. Whatever it is. Deal with it. After the exam. When those words landed, I realized I was still standing in front the security desk inside the hallway. A teacher was already holding up a sign and calling out exam room numbers. The fan by the door spun slowly, blowing out air tinged with dust, brushing past my admission ticket in hand. The paper corner fluttered. The group chat was still lighting up. Selfish. A buzzkill. She wants the whole class to fail. Swaysha. Say something. I switched my phone to silent mode and long pressed the power button before the screen went dark. Sumian's photo of the transparent document bag was still at the top, the white zipper pressing down on the edges of a row of ID cards. Chinsha stood beside me, her eyes red, her voice trembling. Then what about them? I put my phone into the storage basket and took back my admission ticket. Go in first. She froze for a moment. The broadcast rang out again. 10 minutes until the Chinese language exam begins. The security teacher pushed the basket further onto the desk. Next. I clutched my admission ticket and walked inside. Behind me, in the storage basket, my phone suddenly buzzed again. The black screen lit up with a new message. Swaysha. You've doomed us all. The bell rang and the exam room fell silent, leaving only the sound of pen tips scraping across answer sheets. I wrote the last line of my essay when a car screeched to a halt outside the window. The sound of tires grinding against the asphalt drilling through the glass. The proctor in the front row glanced up, said nothing, only nudged their thermos to the corner of the desk. Chin Sha Sha sat diagonally in front of me, her hand holding the pen never steady. The name field in the top right corner of her answer sheet was smudged gray from eraser dust. When the bell rang for submission, she didn't stand up on the first try. The chair leg scraped against the floor before she hurriedly handed in her paper. The phones were retrieved outside the exam hall as the storage basket was pushed out. A row of black screens vibrated simultaneously like a handful of scattered beans. The security guard frowned. Check them outside. Don't block the door. I picked up my phone. The moment the screen lit up, the class group chat had already hit 99 plus. The top message was from a classmate. Chin Sha Sha had never seen Nanqing. No. 3 high school doesn't even have our exam hall. Then a few more popped up. The security guard said there was no transfer notice from city. No. 1 high school today. Sumian. Where are our IDs? Hand them out first. Is it too late to go back? Chin Sha Sha leaned in to look, her lips instantly pressing together. The chat quickly descended into chaos. Someone sent a crying emoji. Someone directly cursed the driver. And a few were still defending Sumian. Don't blame Yayan. She was tricked too. Let's figure out how to get back to city. No. 1 high school first. Stop pointing fingers. How the IDs are still in the front pocket. Who took them? Just as I scrolled down, Linu's voice message popped up. SUA. Did you know all along that Nanqing wouldn't let us in? Why didn't you stop the bus? You're done with the exam now. Happy. At the end of the voice message, someone was crying on his end. Voices jumbled together. Unclear who it was. Chin Shasha's fingers gripped her phone case. Her voice tiny. You did stop them. The moment she finished, another message from Sumian appeared in the chat. Shisha. I'm really a mess right now. If you had insisted a little more, maybe everyone wouldn't have left. Someone immediately replied below. Yeah. She stayed at the original exam hall. She warned them. But she didn't actually stop them. She's a top student. Of course. She's happy with fewer competitors. Chin Zhao's face flushed red. And she raised her hand to type. I pressed down on the edge of her phone. Don't rush. Her eyes were still red. They're too much. I was right there just now. I let them finish talking. Outside the school gate, a crowd of parents had gathered, peering through the railing. A woman in a blue sun protection jacket spotted me and immediately pointed. Is that her? The grade 1 who didn't get on the bus. A male parent next to her crushed his water bottle with a crackle. My son said she knew something was wrong but didn't stop the bus. Some didn't speak. Only scrolled through the chat logs. Others tried to smooth things over. Don't corner the kid. She just finished the exam. The woman cut him off. My child didn't even get into the Chinese exam. And you're telling me not to corner her. I opened the group chat and pulled up the first reminder from this morning. The exam hall on your admission ticket is City No 1 High School. And the official text says, no changes. Everyone. Please double check your admission tickets and don't hand over your IDs. The moment the screen lit up with that line. Lynn. You pushed through the crowd and grabbed my phone. His hair was a mess. A streak of dust on the white school uniform sleeve. His voice urgent. Suji Shia. What are you pulling this out for now? Everyone's already in trouble. And you want to wash your hands of it. I didn't snatch my phone back. Only looked up at the space behind him. Chinsha stepped forward. She was still clutching her crumpled admission ticket. Her voice trembling slightly. But she didn't back down. She did stop them. Chinsha raised her own phone. 722, 725, 731. She reminded us 3 times in the chat. I saw her message. That's why I didn't get on the bus. Liu's hand froze on my phone. A few nearby parents leaned in to look. Some frowned. Others still didn't believe it. Then why didn't she stop the bus? Chinsha opened her mouth but couldn't find the words. Just then, another message popped up in the chat. The ID pouch is missing. What do you mean missing? The first to shout was the woman in the blue sun protection jacket. She shoved past the parents at the railing, holding her phone up to Linu's face, the screen almost hitting his nose. That message was still hanging in the chat. The ID pouch is missing. It was in the front just now, and no one's admitting to taking it. Liu's hand was still on my phone. Hearing that, his fingers stiffened noticeably. He immediately let go of me and turned to check his own phone. I pulled my phone back. The screen edge damp with a sweat mark from his grip. Find the IDs first. A parent said. Voice. My daughter's ID is in there. She has math this afternoon. Another person stared at me. Didn't she just take a picture of the bus? Did she already know this was going to happen? Chin Xiaosha snapped. She took the picture because you got on the wrong bus. Shut up. The woman in blue turned around. You went into the exam hall. So. Of course. You're speaking for her. What about our kid? Crying at the south gate. Do you even know? Chin Xiaosha was yelled back half a step. Her heel hitting the edge of the stairs. Her admission ticket nearly slipping from her hand. Lina looked up then. His voice steadier than before. Everyone. Don't panic first. The document bag is definitely on the bus. It won't be lost. There's no point blaming Suisha for not warning us now. The problem is she knew we might go the wrong way and didn't notify the school to stop the bus. I did notify. Chin Sha said quietly. She called Teacher Chin twice. Teacher Chin didn't answer. Liu cut her off directly. Not answering means it wasn't delivered. As soon as he said this, a few parents nodded immediately. Others frowned at him but stayed silent. I scrolled to the call log about to open it when Lina suddenly reached out to block me. Suji Shia. Who are you going to show this to now? If you really wanted to help everyone, you should have rushed to the front of the bus to stop it. Rushed to the front of the bus. Chin Sha looked up at him, her voice trembling badly. Then what about her exam? Linu glanced at her. Chin Xiao. Don't let her lead you astray. You stayed behind. So of course you're fine. But the people on the bus. The people on the bus have their documents with Samian. I said. Liu's voice caught. The woman in blue immediately latched onto that. Then where's Samian? Let her answer the call. Someone in the group started tagging Samian. One message after another. Samian. Where exactly is the document bag? Didn't you say it was all with you? Where's my kid's admission ticket? After a few seconds, Samian finally sent a voice message. She was crying so hard she could barely breathe. And in the background, someone was cursing the driver. I don't know. It was too chaotic just now. I put the bag in the front and let everyone grab their own. Maybe someone took the wrong one. Xia. Can you stop pushing me? I'm already really struggling. As the last sentence landed, a few parents' gazes returned to me. Liu, as if waiting for this, immediately said. Hear that? She's panicked too. Suji Shia. Do you have to provoke her right now? I didn't say anything. I opened the photo Samian had sent this morning. The transparent document bag was on her lap. Zipped shut. The white zipper pull pressed against the edge of her school uniform skirt. In the bottom right corner of the photo, there was her hand. I handed my phone to Chin Sha. Chin Sha paused for a moment, then still held it up for the nearby parents to see. This is a photo Samian sent herself. She said everyone's documents were with her. The woman in blue reached for the phone, but Chen Shurao pulled back. Don't grab it. I'll show you. Liu's face darkened, but he quickly spoke again. What does a photo prove? She was just holding them for safekeeping, not deliberately losing them. The problem now is that Suzuisha knew it was wrong and still let everyone go. I was about to speak when the security guard came over from the gate holding a registration book and a black pen with the cap not fully tightened. Who Suisha? He scanned the crowd. A parent reported that you maliciously misled the examinees. Come register first. The registration book was spread open by the guard. The edges of the pages curled. The pen cap not fully closed. Ink smudging at the tip. The woman in blue immediately pushed forward. Yes. Register her. She knew it was wrong and still let our kids go to the wrong exam site. I didn't mislead anyone. I reached for the pen and first crossed out the words maliciously misled. Right. Clearly. I warned everyone in the group. The guard paused. Looking down at the line. Classmate. Don't change that first. The parent reported. Linu pressed down on the corner of the registration book. His voice very low. Susya. Are you still changing words now? Everyone's watching. Chinsha stood next to me. Still clutching my phone. She held the screen up. She said at 7:22 that the admission ticket hadn't changed. And at 7:25. She told everyone not to hand over their documents. Don't just listen to Linux. The woman in blue reached out to grab it. Let me see. Chinsha pulled back. The phone nearly hitting the railing. Another parent stopped her. Don't grab it. Let's see the time first. Linu's face was tight. Suddenly. He pointed at me. Then why did she save the voice message? She suspected it all along. Why didn't she tell the teacher directly? She called. China Shah's voice turned sharp. Teacher Chin didn't answer. Not answering means it wasn't delivered. Liu jumped in immediately for something like the college entrance exam. Does she think posting a few messages in the group counts as stopping it? Someone behind chimed in. Yeah. If she really thought it was wrong. She should have called the security guard to stop the bus. Some muttered under their breath. The bus was already moving by then. Who dare stand in front of it? Liu whipped around. Your kid wasn't on that bus. So. Of course you'd say that. The man shut his mouth. I didn't argue further. I pulled up the call log and handed the phone to the security guard. The guard had just looked down when Linu's hand reached over again. Trying to flip the screen off. Liu. A voice came from inside the school gate. Let her hold it. Teacher Chin walked out quickly. Carrying a black folder. Her forehead was drenched in sweat. The proctor badge on her chest flipped to the back. The red strap digging into her neck. She glanced at me first. Then at the registration book under Linu's hand. Who wrote malicious misinformation? The security guard coughed. The parents a bit agitated. Let's get the registration done first. Teacher Chin placed the folder on the registration book. Pressing down the pages. A black pen rolled to the side. Don't write anything yet. Her voice wasn't loud. But everyone around paused. I just got my phone out of the exam office. Suisha did call me twice. But I didn't pick up because all phones were sealed. During the exam. The woman in blue immediately said. So she still didn't get the message through. Teacher Chin didn't respond to that. She turned to look at the group chat interface where Sumian's voice message was still playing. I have one question. She stared at Liu. This morning. I never sent any notice about changing the exam venue in the class group. Who sent that voice message? Liu's mouth opened. Then closed. A few nearby parents leaned in to look at the phone. Someone whispered. It wasn't from Teacher Chin. Liu quickly recovered. The voice message was forwarded by Sumian. Maybe Teacher Chin sent it to her privately. I didn't. Teacher Chin reached out. Open the original file. Liu didn't move. Teacher Chin looked at me. Suji Xia. Did you save it? I tapped the voice message I just saved. My finger on the screen. The 6-second audio lit up. And Teacher Chen's voice came through the speaker laced with the familiar static. Attention everyone. There's a temporary power outage in the No. 2 middle school area. Teacher Chen's brow furrowed by the second. She pulled my phone closer. Didn't let it play further. And turned to Liu. Power outage in the No 2 middle school area. Who told you that? Liu immediately said. I don't know. I just heard it from Sumian. Before he could finish. Sumian's voice message popped up again in the group. Teacher Chin. Don't blame Liu. I misheard. I really just misheard in the background. Someone shouted. Did you find the idea or not? Teacher Chen's hand froze midair. She looked up at Liu. I haven't even asked her yet. The corner of Teacher Chen's folder pressed against the registration book. A gust of wind rustled the paper caught in the gap. Liu's hand was still hovering in the air. The words. I just heard it from Sumian stuck in his throat. Unable to swallow. He quickly pulled his hand back and turned to look outside the crowd. She's panicking too right now. Don't push her. Who's pushing her? The woman in blue exploded instantly. My kid's exam ticket is still in her bag. Another voice message from Samian popped up in the group. She was in chaos on her end. Someone shouting for the driver. Someone crying about what to do in the afternoon. Samian sobbed. I really didn't know this would happen. That voice message. I thought it was from Teacher Chin. I just forwarded it. Lou, say something for me. Lou's Adam's apple bobbed. Teacher Chin didn't rush to ask. She just handed the phone back to me. Don't delete that voice message yet. I saved it. My finger pressing on the screen. The phone case hot from the sun. Linu's eyes flipped toward my hand. Then quickly looked away. Teacher Chin turned to the security guard. Go call that bus driver back and ask him who gave him the destination. The security guard froze. Holding the registration book. No. The parents over there are still now. Teacher Chin closed the folder. The students have exams this afternoon. Lin suddenly cut in. Teacher. The driver just followed the school's instructions. Don't blow this out of proportion. The south side might just be. Maybe the gate guard didn't know. The woman in blue immediately turned. How do you know? The driver followed the school's instructions. Liu paused. I'm guessing that's not what you said earlier. Chin Sha clutched my phone. Her voice still trembling. But she stepped forward. You said Samian confirmed it. You also said everyone should get on the bus based on what Samian said. Lina looked at her. Chin Xiao. You're taking Sushiai's side now because you got into the exam hall. I got into the exam hall because I didn't hand over my exam ticket. Chinasha's voice cracked with urgency. Samian kept pushing me to hand it in. The expressions on the nearby parents shifted. Some lowered their heads to check messages from their own children while others stubbornly insisted. Collecting the documents was probably to keep them from getting lost. Who knew they'd end up at the wrong place? Teacher Chin reached out. Who has the photo of Samian collecting the documents? I handed my phone over. As soon as the photo opened, a transparent document pouch was pressed against Samian's knee. The white zipper pulled tight with the edges of a few ID cards peeking out from the top. Teacher Chen's fingertip paused at the bottom right corner of the photo where a hand pressed down on the pouch. Its nails painted a light pink. She didn't say a word. Just turned the phone directly toward Linu. Linu glanced at it and immediately said she was just holding on to them. Holding on to them until they disappeared. The woman in blue's voice went hoarse as she reached for the phone. Let me see if my kids' documents are in there. Teacher Chin pulled the phone back. Don't grab. First, find the people. First, find the pouch. Just then, the security guard ran back, followed by a driver in a blue shirt. The driver's forehead was drenched in sweat. And he still clutched a half-empty water bottle. Its body dented from being squeezed. Teacher. I really don't know. The driver said as soon as he stopped. Someone sent me a location in advance, saying this batch from City No 1 High was headed to the South City backup site. So, I followed the location. Teacher Chin asked. Who sent it? The driver lowered his head to scroll through his phone. Flipped through it a couple of times. Then glanced at Liu. Linu's expression froze. The driver pulled his phone back a little. A student gave it to me. I don't know if it was arranged by a teacher. The woman in blue grabbed the driver's sleeve. Which student? Speak clearly. The driver stumbled back half a step, nearly dropping the water bottle. Hey, don't pull. Don't pull. Liu immediately stepped forward to block her. Don't scare the driver. He picks up so many students. It's normal to mix things up. Teacher Chen didn't look at Liu. Only said to the driver. If you don't speak clearly now, all the absence explanations this afternoon will say you violated the rules for picking up students. The driver's face went pale. He held out his phone. The screen still showing the location. He sent it. The driver said. Looking up at Liu. His voice shaky. Didn't you say this morning that Samian was in charge of roll call and told me to wait at South City? No. 3 Highs Gate. The noise around them suddenly grew chaotic. Linux. You contacted the driver. 2. Then why did you say you didn't know earlier? Liu opened his mouth. But before he could speak, another message popped up in the group chat from Samian. Liu. Didn't you say that as long as the car got to South City, no one would blame me? Liu's phone screen was still lit. That sentence from Samian hung in the group chat. White text on a black background like a note just pasted there. Liu reached out to scroll up, trying to push the message away. The woman in blue was faster, grabbing his wrist. Don't move. Lynn. You shook her off. What are you doing? It's my phone. What are you so nervous about? The woman in blue shouted, her voice cracking. Is it you she's talking about? The driver stood nearby, the back of his blue shirt soaked with a large patch of sweat. He looked down at his phone, then at Lou, his voice lowering. Classmate. Don't make me take the fall. I just got the location and the fare. Who paid? Teacher Chin asked. The driver swiped his finger across the screen twice, paused and didn't hand it over immediately. The note says, Sumian. Someone nearby gasped. Another immediately said, maybe she was helping the class cover the fare. It's the college entrance exam. Being helpful is normal. The woman in blue turned and cursed. Helpful enough to send people to the wrong exam site. Liu stepped forward, pushing the driver's phone down. What does a note prove? Anyone can change a note. Don't talk nonsense. Driver. The driver stumbled back from the push, the water bottle slipping from his hand, hitting the ground and rolling to the security guard's shoe. The guard bent down, picked it up, and didn't hand it back. Just stared at Liu. Don't touch his phone. Liu's hand froze in midair. Teacher Chin tapped the black folder under her arm, tipped the driver's phone, glanced at it, then had the security guard press the page down with a registration book. Don't delete it yet. Don't change it yet. Driver. Stand over here. Another message from Sumian popped up. I just wanted everyone to go to the backup site. I didn't know they couldn't get in. It was quickly retracted, but someone had already screenshotted it. A message appeared in the group chat. What did she retract? Lynn. You stared at the screen. His face tight and pale. He suddenly opened a voice message and sent it in a low voice. Sumian. Don't talk nonsense. You arranged the car. You collected the documents. I just helped you rush people on. As soon as he finished, several parents nearby looked up at him. Chin Shia Shah also froze, slowly lowering the hand clutching her exam admission ticket. The group chat went silent for 2 seconds. Sumian replied quickly, her voice trembling with tears. Linu. You're shifting the blame onto me now. You were the one who said if Suisha stayed at the original exam site, everyone would blame her. You said she's the top of the grade. The teacher would protect her first and told me not to worry. The color drained from Lin Ye's face bit by bit. Shut up. He gritted his teeth. You edited the voice clip yourself. Don't drag me into this. The moment those words left his mouth, he froze. Teacher Chen's eyes landed on him. The woman in blue grabbed onto that word edited. What do you mean edited? Liu opened his mouth, but no sound came out. On the other end of the phone, Sumian seemed startled. Too. Her crying paused, and the noise in the background became clearer. Someone shouted. Found the document bag. It's under the front seat. Another voice yelled. 2 admission tickets are missing. When the woman in blue heard that, her knees gave way. A nearby parent cut her arm. She gripped that person's sleeve, her eyes still locked on Linu. Teacher Chin reached out toward Liu. Give me your phone. Liu hid the phone behind his back. Teacher. I need to contact my family this afternoon. Give it to me now. Teacher Chen's voice dropped. If it's just a misunderstanding, no one will run you. Liu didn't move. The security guard stepped forward, the registration book tucked under his arm, the black pen rolling across the cover. Only then did Linu hand over the phone, but his fingers still clung to the edge. Teacher. The chat logs. Some of it was just jokes. Teacher Chin didn't respond to that. She just watched him let go at the moment the phone left his hand. The screen buzzed again. Sumian sent a photo. In the photo was a crumpled printed page, slightly wrinkled. The title was half visible. Supplementary admission status for art students. Below it, a line was crossed out in red pen due to the sudden traffic accident during the college entrance exam. Request to retain eligibility for subsequent supplementary admission. Then Simeon sent a voice message, her sobs broken and uneven. Linux. Your dad said. As long as we make a big enough scene, I can still get in through supplementary admission. Don't act like nothing's wrong now. Don't pretend. Liu lunged to grab the phone. Teacher Chin pulled back and the phone hit the edge of the folder with a dull thud. The security guard blocked him. What are you doing? Liu was panting, his eyes red-rimmed. Suddenly, he spun around and pointed at me. Suja. Are you happy now? You just wanted to see me and Sumhalai, didn't you? None of us got to take the exam and you're still standing here acting like nothing happened. I didn't respond. Chin Xiaoxia unfolded the crumpled admission ticket and handed it to Teacher Chin. Her voice steadier than before. Teacher. Are they still allowed and for the afternoon session? What about the two missing ones? Another message popped up in the group. Sumian is gone. The moment those words appeared, the woman in blue rushed toward the school gate. The security guard stopped her. Don't run off. There are still candidates at the gate. My child's admission tickets are missing. The water bottle in her hand was crushed flat. You're telling me not to run. Teacher Chin handed Linu's phone to the security guard along with the drivers and pressed them into a black folder. First, go to the security office. Driver. Keep the location and payment records. The driver nodded hurriedly. I'll keep them. I really just picked them up. I don't know what's going on between these students. Liu suddenly stepped back. His heel hitting the edge of the step. A nearby parent reached up to block him. Not so much to study him as to stop him from running. Where are you going? Teacher Chen looked at him. Lin Yu's throat bobbed. I'm going to find Sumian. She's unstable right now. What if? Stay here. Teacher Chen straightened the exam supervisor's badge. Your phone hasn't been logged yet. Liu's face tightened. Teacher. I'm also a candidate. Which is exactly why you're staying. Teacher Chen said not to explain yourself. Someone muttered. Let the kid take the afternoon exam first. While another person stared at me and her. She's completely fine. Chin Xiaoxia clutched the admission ticket. She was supposed to be in the exam hall. The door to the security office swung open. The air conditioning inside was low. A few exam discipline notices were taped to the door. Their edges yellowed. The security guard placed both phones on the table and brought out a transparent seal bag. Seal them first. Teacher Chin said. Liu reached out and pressed his hand over his phone. My family will call. I have to answer. The security guard blocked him. Log at first. Linu stared at the seal bag. His eyes bloodshot. I told you those were jokes. Sumian's talking nonsense. You believe her? The woman in blue shouted from the doorway. I believe my child is still missing 2 admission tickets. Someone outside immediately yelled back. Found them. They're in the side pocket of Sumian's backpack. Suman was helped over by 2 girls. Her white sun protection jacket crumpled. Hair loose. One parent carried her backpack. The side pocket zipper wide open, revealing the corners of 2 blue and white admission tickets. As soon as Sumian saw Teacher Chin, she burst into tears. Teacher. I didn't mean to. I really don't know how they ended up in my bag. It was so chaotic just now. Everyone was grabbing their documents and I just grabbed them randomly. The woman in blue rushed forward but was stopped by another parent. Don't get physical yet. The kids still have exams to take. Whose kid? The woman in blue's hands were trembling. She stuffed my child's admission ticket into her bag. Sumian tried to hide behind Linux. But the moment she moved, Linucidist stepped away. She froze. Tears still hanging off her chin. Linu Liu didn't look at her. Only stared at Teacher Chin. Teacher. The tickets are found. Everyone can take the afternoon exam normally. This morning, the driver took a wrong turn. Sumian panicked. And Suji. She don't call my name. Sumian suddenly cut him off. Her voice sharpening. Didn't you tell me to send that voice message? You said Teacher Chen's parent meeting recording had unified arrangement in it. And if we clipped it, no one could tell. Now you're saying I panicked. The half-empty water bottle in the driver's hand was squeezed again. Creaking. Teacher Chen didn't respond. She only opened the sealable bag. Put your phone in. The security guard pushed Linu's phone into the bag. Liu suddenly pressed the edge. I never said that. Sumian cried as she fumbled for her own phone. You did. You even said your dad knows someone in admissions as long as we made it look like a traffic accident. My supplementary registration would go through. You said Suzuisha would definitely get blamed and the school would protect her first. Liu lunged to grab her phone. Sumian screamed and tucked the phone into her chest. The 2 girls, startled, let go of her. Her backpack hit the ground, spilling a pencil case and tissues. And the 2 admission tickets slid to the edge of the doorframe. Chin Xiaoxia bent down, picked them up, brushed off the dust, and handed them to the woman in blue. Auntie, take these first. The woman in blue took them, her lips moving for a long time before she managed. Can she still get in for the afternoon? Teacher Tin looked at the security guard. Take them to the exam affairs office for supplementary registration. Those who can enter, get them in first. Write separate explanations for missed exam records, document holds, and incorrect notifications. The woman in blue lowered her head, pressing the tickets flat in her palm. Not looking at me again. Teacher Chin picked up the sealable bag, stuffing both phones, the driver's payment page, and the supplementary registration photo inside. When she tore off the seal strip, the adhesive made a sharp rip sound. Summian stood at the door, her eyes fixed on the bag. Teacher, I still have the afternoon exam. Teacher Chin pressed the seal strip flat. Register first, she said. Whether you take the exam or not. Wait for the exam affairs office notice. Just then, the campus loudspeaker crackled to life. Please prepare your personal admission ticket and ID card for the afternoon math exam. The security guard placed the sealed transparent bag into a black folder, the clip snapping shut with a click as the black folder was locked into the security office cabinet. Teacher Chin pulled out the key, the metal ring clinking softly in her hand. Liu still stood at the door, his hands empty. He tried to speak several times, but in the end only managed. Jisha, about the afternoon math. Can you please talk to the teacher for me first? I didn't mean to hurt you. I pulled my admission ticket out of the file folder, the corner of the paper slightly soft from sweat. Chin Sha stood beside me and spoke up first. When you made her take the fall just now, you didn't think about her having an afternoon exam either. Linu glanced at her, his lips moving, but no words came out. Summian sat on the chair inside the security office, the cuff of her white sun protection jacket twisted into a ball. Hearing the broadcast, she suddenly stood up again. Teacher, you can't seal my phone. I need to contact my mom. I really have to take the afternoon exam. I can't. Teacher Chin didn't look back. She only pushed open the door to the exam affairs office. Register first. Someone inside handed out a form. Summian reached for it, her fingers trembling as they touched the paper. She tried to grab the transparent sealable bag on the table, but the security guard blocked her. This can't be taken. Inside that bag were the phones, the payment page, the printed materials, and the photo of the transparent document holder. The white seal strip was affixed to the bag's opening, its edges pressed flat. The woman in blue passed by with her child. The child's eyes were swollen from crying, clutching a freshly re-registered admission ticket. She stopped in front of me, opened her mouth twice, and finally whispered, "This morning, I was too hasty. I didn't say it's okay. I just nodded." She didn't wait for my response, pulling her child toward the security checkpoint. The child took a few steps, glanced back at Summian, then tucked the ticket into the pocket on her chest, pressing her palm over it. Before the math exam, Lenyu was kept outside the exam affairs office. His father arrived, suit jacket draped over his arm, and the first thing he asked was, "Can you not affect the kid's exam?" Teacher Chin pushed the sealed envelope to the center of the desk. "Let's see how the school and the admissions office handle it first." Liu's father looked down and saw the words explanation of supplementary admission for arts category. His fingers paused on the edge of the desk and he didn't push the business card forward again. Teacher Chin pulled out the printed document alone and placed it squarely on the desk. "This reason for supplementary admission says it was a sudden traffic accident." She looked up at Summian. "But today wasn't an accident. Someone forged a notice, took classmates to the wrong exam center, and even temporarily confiscated their ID documents." Summian's hand clenched suddenly, her nails digging into the cuff of her white sun-protective shirt. Liu's father's face darkened for the first time. He didn't look at Liu, but put the business card back into the inner pocket of his suit jacket. "I didn't handle this explanation. Explain your own chat. Record yourself." Liu lipped up. "Dad." His father didn't respond, only took half a step back. Summian's mother also arrived, rushing in with her first words. "Army is timid. She couldn't have done something like this." Summian looked up at her, tears already dried on her face. "Mom," Linu said. Linu turned his head sharply. "You're still talking." Summian's mother reached out to take back the supplementary admission explanation, but the woman in blue pressed down on the corner of the paper first. "Don't take it." Her voice was ULT. "Whoever wrote this paper, whoever signed it, well, settle it today." Someone in the office coughed. The teacher holding the pen pushed the form toward them. "Sign first to confirm the items are sealed." The pen cap rolled to the edge of the desk and Teacher Chin pressed it down. The last broadcast before the afternoon exam sounded. Chin Sha and I walked toward the exam hall. Her admission ticket was tucked under her transparent clipboard, the corner still wrinkled. "Shisha. She whispered to me if I had gotten on that car this morning." She didn't finish. I handed my own admission ticket to the security teacher. The teacher glanced at the name then looked up at me. Go in. After that day, the class group chat stayed quiet for a long time. And Sumian didn't return to school for classes. Linu's seat was empty for 2 days. On the third day, he came back to pack his things. Half a pack of unopened wet wipes fell out of the desk drawer. He bent down to pick them up. But a few classmates nearby didn't help. Only pulled their chairs in tighter. When the results came out, Chin Shah sent me a screenshot. The explanation of the anomaly at City No. 1 high school exam center has been archived. Materials on the involved students' violations have been transferred. She sent another line afterward. I got in. It's not the school I wanted most. But my parents said just getting into the exam room was enough. I stared at it for a long time and replied, "Congratulations." In August, the admission letter arrived at the doorstep. The courier box was very thin. The sealing tape stuck to my fingertips when I tore it open. Beneath the letter was a red admission guide. I took it out and from the bottom drawer of my desk, pulled out my college entrance exam admission ticket. The paper was no longer flat. Next to the word City No 1 High School was a crease I had made by squeezing it. Mom stood at the kitchen doorway, flowers still on her hands. Put it away safely. Don't lose it. I tucked the admission ticket into the acceptance letter and zipped the transparent file folder all the way. Click this time. The documents were in my own hands. After hearing the stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.